Viewers, viewers, Vader Games in the building, episode 26 of Why Always Me. It's going to be a fantastic show. Special guests, always. Special guests. I have to do it right. It's, we're going into the last week of the EPL. Returning special guests, but from different shows. If you've tuned into my shows in the past, Home and Away, you're very familiar with this guest. It's Rob. Rob's a special guest on the Why Always Me show. And if you tuned into my previous panel show that had Schools, Tyribbs, and Prince, Schools is missing. I don't know why. You may know why if you think about it, Arsenal fan. But I have Tyribbs and Prince. A lot to get into. You see the topics right there on the side. Let's go to the intro and get right into it. All right. What a week. I got to stay calm. I got to stay collected because there's still one more game to be played. And a lot happened this previous week. Before I get the panel in here, I got to talk about this West Ham 2-2 draw that happened. I'm not going to lie. The way the match started, I was extremely frustrated. I knew it was going to be a challenge. I knew it was going to be a battle. West Ham's no joke. They played very well within Europa this year. A lot of things with regards to the team have been progressing really well, right? Moyes is doing his thing. Can't hate. But the nerves of the fact that we had like a makeshift defense, Pep had to MacGyver players in that back line due to injury. And the team started off giving up not one, but 2 goals. And they were sloppy goals. They were counter goals. And they just lacked a fight to actually try to make the game difficult for West Ham. I'm fast forwarding with the rest of the game because obviously at this point you've heard match reactions, you've heard recaps from other Manchester City fans or just EPL fan coverage. So I'm not going to go crazy in depth, but I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I'm just going to point out the fact that Manchester City were able to dig deep and fight back to draw the game. And the reason why that's important is because without that type of effort, without that type of fight from the players, they could have looked at a season being thrown away. They could have given the opportunity, handed the opportunity for Liverpool to pursue their treble or quad. And we'll talk about that in the show. But they battled back to tie the game. And they actually continued to play hard and play till the end. And I actually have to talk about the performance that I saw from Jack Grealish, Mr. Gucci. He actually started that first goal, started that comeback. But I'm not going to say that we saw what we're going to expect of him next season, but we definitely saw a player that's more familiar and more trusting in what's expected of him in terms of playing and performing on the pitch and the abilities that he has in terms of changing the game, right? So he did his thing. We got lucky with a deflected own goal as well to tie things up. And if you're going to have a late penalty in a game, as a Manchester City fan, I'm sure your short list of players to choose from with regards to who's taking the PK, one of the first names on that list has to be Mahrez. It has to be Riyad Mahrez. It's probably a bet almond because I was actually nervous for the PK. I didn't have the trusted surety that he's going to slot this and put it away. And I guess my nervousness was justified because Mahrez missed the PK. If it wasn't Mahrez to take it, it would have been Kevin De Bruyne. But Mahrez took it, missed it, and as a result, the game did end in a 2-2 draw. I see it as a 0.1 not 2 points lost, because the team had to come back. And the team had to come back with, like I said, the MacGyver Band-Aid fix defense. Now, I'm gonna bring the panel in for the following topics, the rest of the topics. And we've got the FA Cup Liverpool versus Chelsea match. Actually, I think it was Chelsea versus Liverpool because Chelsea was the home team, but they obviously played in Wembley. Um, I'm gonna throw this one. I'm gonna throw this one to Rob, the first name up here on the panel. Rob, what did you think of the match itself in terms of entertainment, um, manager versus manager, team versus team, in terms of like a performance? What did you think of the FA Cup final?
I don't get to go at the West Ham game. Damn you. All right. I've got so much to say about the West Ham game. FA Cup final, Klopp versus Tuchel, Tuchel versus Klopp. Congratulations to Liverpool for winning a second domestic trophy without scoring a goal in open play. Well done. On the whole, we've seen a role reversal from Jurgen Klopp this season. He is taking domestic silverware more seriously than he's ever done before. You know, usually at the February point of the season and the May period of the season, Jurgen Klopp's team has been well out of a competition for months by now. Normally, you know, in his first 3 seasons, I think they were out in the latest they got was the quarterfinal. I think maybe the semi-final for one of those years. I can't remember, but and then certainly in the League Cup, they'd usually just throw out a bunch of duffers and not even make it to a quarters or a semi, you know. So congratulations for respecting football more. The game itself, it needed prime Lukaku, and it didn't get prime Lukaku.
You're talking from looking at it from a Chelsea standpoint, or?
Yeah, absolutely, because you already know what you're going to get. There's no point in talking about Liverpool. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Chelsea stopped them from scoring, I guess, is kudos to Chelsea. But that Chelsea team, it's not firing on all cylinders. There's certain departments where it does absolutely fire on all cylinders, but then there's other parts of the pitch that are just let down. And I love Romelu Lukaku. I loved him when he was at Everton, and I loved him when he was in Italy. But,
yes, sir.
But he just he doesn't function properly at Chelsea, and the rest of the Chelsea attack doesn't function properly either. It's very 1 in 3, as opposed to what you need it to be at the elite level, which is every game.
Yeah, I think on future shows, I think there really needs to be an investigation to what's the real difference between the success or the team performance of last year to this year. I think Tuchel, having had the team for a second year, or I guess a year and a half, because he came in midway, like what is it that's caused them to kind of stall the way they have with the addition of Lukaku? Because I know that he's had his poor performances, but he's still a very, very, very good striker. High quality. He's able to score goals.
I don't think they have stagnated. I think they've actually, especially Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel was the bookmaker's favourite to be sacked first. The fact that Thomas Tuchel is still in the job shows that there might be an overhaul change of attitude from the Chelsea ownership or the Chelsea board or whatever.
I'll agree with you. I think, but again, the high probability of him being sacked isn't necessarily so much a poor performance, but the mentality of the previous owner. I think that's why the odds were so high.
Absolutely.
I also feel as if the whole Lukaku signing was a signing made not by Tuchel himself.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it and you look at the way Tuchel has always played, look at his strikers over the years. Has he ever had that big target man striker? No, he never has. So why is it all of a sudden, you know what? He's a striker. We're going to make it work. That's not how you build a team necessarily. You know, I think he's more inclined to have your, you know, finisher type striker versus, you know, your big dude, you know, your Lukaku's, your Calvert-Lewin's. He's more apt to be, you know, imagine if he had like Benzema, for example. That team fires on all cylinders, no questions asked. I don't know. It was a confusing signing to me. I think they signed him with the view of, he scored, 50, 60 some odd goals in 2 years for Inter, but not even looking at like how he scored those goals. And then I mean, I think on opening day he scored what, 2? Opening day he scored 2. He goes through a drought, and it's just like, all right, well, you're done. I mean, I guess I don't know.
So, and again, and thank you for the comment, Rainbow Fanta. Thanks for tuning in, new to the channel. And again, I didn't do this with regards to the intro, but I'm gonna do it now. First things first, my peoples come first. Manchester City fans, rival fans, you guys are my peoples. You girls are my peoples. Hit that follow button, subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, hit that sub button. If you're watching on YouTube, again, subscribe, follow, comment, like. You know the little computer algorithm and how it works, right? The more interaction, the more chances of people like yourselves that like this content are going to come across it. So thanks for doing your part. Let me read this out. We got Rainbow Fanta that says Lukaku is a very unadaptable player. In the right situation, in the right way, he is class, but he is what he is. Now, I'm not going to argue this point because I think we would go off on a tangent, and with regards to the topics, we're more so talking about the FA Cup. But I will say this: if Lukaku was acquired by others, not Tuchel, is it because that they overestimated the skills and ability of a Tuchel to be able to have Lukaku fit within a system, or was it a overestimating the ability of a Lukaku to have his quality just emit regardless of
just
the
a square peg round hole? Like if you put Sadio
Yeah.
Mane at the top, if you put Sadio Mane in that Chelsea team, they're winning the league. I'm telling you.
I also feel as if, look at his striker options last year. They were desperate for a striker this year. Werner wasn't doing anything. No one was doing anything. And it's like, who over the summer was available? Last summer, there was no one. No one was really available. Suarez, I mean, even if you want to take a shot on an older guy like Suarez, he just won the league with Atletico. He's not going to go anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Who's available? Lautaro? I genuinely think Lautaro Martinez would have been a better signing than Lukaku. In reality.
I think Lukaku is Harry Kane, by the way.
A poor man's version of Harry Kane.
It's sort of a poor man's version. Honestly, Harry Kane doesn't work in any other team that isn't playing that way. Tottenham are so successful with Harry Kane and Son because it's all to them. It's channeled through them. If Harry Kane was asked to play in a 4-3-3 or a different system that doesn't just see him as the end point of it, he would fail.
I mean, look at Nuno. Look what Tottenham was with Nuno when it's not funneled through him and it's funneled through the wings. Look at that. That is a different Tottenham team than it is now. And the same reason I think it works for Kane now is the same reason it worked for Lukaku at Inter, because you have the same manager playing the same exact system. Think about it. I mean, they're identical players in reality.
Tyribbs, let me throw this to you. Whether you watched the match or saw highlights, did you expect any result other than penalty shots? Like, did you envision anyone winning in regular time?
Yeah, I think it was possible. Like, I think when you have big name offensive players like the ones Liverpool have, you would expect at least one goal in a regular time. And when you look at the creative midfield that Chelsea has, it's not crazy to think that they could get a goal too during regular time. Like, I was surprised it went to extra time, and I was surprised more that it was 0-0 than it went extra time.
Okay.
Like, if you told me it was 1-1 in extra time, like, yeah, that makes sense. But like the fact it was 0-0 with but they are both also pretty good defensively. Like, they are pretty like well-built teams. Like, Chelsea is having that striker issue, and I do think players like Jota are kind of overrated on Liverpool, but they still have Salah and Mane at the same time. Like, it's again, but like with Chelsea losing, like I think Chelsea lost that game more than Liverpool won that game.
See, they obviously played in the Carabao Cup, right? Earlier in the year, and it was the same thing. I believe they did score. Was it 2-2 to go to penalty shots? or 1-1. No, they didn't score at all.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I'm
it?
pretty
No,
sure. I'm
that's
pretty
why
sure that was
I
also.
made the statement I made.
Yeah,
Congratulations to Liverpool for winning 2 domestic trophies without scoring a goal in
yeah.
open play.
That's terrible. That is actually terrible. Like 2 cup finals, and again, I'm not going to get drawn in and talk about them being quote unquote the best team in the world, but for them, however they're labeled, however they see themselves, Chelsea now has performed very well, whether it's raising their levels or maybe not, that is their level and they're inconsistent with regards to league, but they held Liverpool to no goals for 2 cups, and again, it comes down to penalty shots. Um, would you say that looking at how the cup finals have happened, that Chelsea's regular season is actually disappointing, given how tough they played Liverpool? I'll throw that to you, Tyribbs.
Uh, mm, I mean, what they're finishing third, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
like
finishing
they're
third.
not beating Liverpool out in the league. Like they're not
But should they be
like
closer? Because they've lost to Arsenal. They've lost to. I can look and
no,
pull it up.
because of their striker issue. Like when you have such a, if they had a winger issue, you could easily overcome a winger issue. But when you have like a focal point as a striker issue, like that's pretty hard to overcome because that just bottle caps your goals. Like would you like? I feel like I see more of Mason Mount or Kai Havertz, like goal scoring than Lukaku. Like I think Lukaku was a terrible signing for them, and I knew it was going to be a terrible signing for him.
I, I
Mm,
I genuinely see the Lukaku signing as the vision was to turn him into something of a better version of Giroud, someone that can play off and let these bombarding center attacking mids, wingers make runs off of him. But the issue is, if you don't play the ball to Lukaku's feet, he is useless.
Hmm.
hmm
He is absolutely useless. Well, he had a game at one point this year where at half he had like 2 touches or 4 touches, or the whole game he had 4 touches,
Yeah,
and he
I
was
remember a
criticized super
stat.
heavily.
Yeah, I remember a stat where he had no touches for one half. Like
Yeah.
no touches.
But like when you look at his highlights for Man, or not his highlights, I would say his time for Man U, like his touch was awful, and like
Listen,
you could criticize him for his time in Man U for a lot of different factors, like the team, the
no,
management, all
no,
that. But
no,
like the
no,
same shit
no,
happened in Italy. Like his
no,
touch was still awful in Italy.
What do you why you
no,
say no? Why you say no,
no,
Prince?
no, because he gets so much slack for when he was at Menu. And I'm going to do a little research, but out of all the strikers in that same period of time, he was actually goals wise. Like, I mean, I'm not talking about standard of play or anything like that, but goals, he actually did pretty well. And we talk about this all the time. We've been down this road a billion times. And he gets so much slack, and all of Manu's misfortunes while he was there were pinned on him. When in
Okay,
reality,
wait.
it's not.
Do you mean he gets a lot of the blame? Because I when you say he gets a lot of slack, I mean like I think you were
Yeah.
saying like cut him some
Yeah, yeah,
slack.
yeah. He gets a lot of
No,
the
sorry. He
flack.
gets he gets a
Yeah,
lot of the
flag.
flack.
That's what
Flack.
I think you meant.
But
Okay.
Yeah,
see,
he scores 16 goals in 2017, 2018 with 6 assists, right? And for the year he scores 27 goals in 51 appearances for the year. He's scoring a goal every other
see,
game?
yeah, I knew that I was trying to be careful because I
That's
knew
fine.
with regards. No, it's excellent. I love the talk. I know when it comes down to like criticism or evaluating the teams, it obviously it stares to players. And Lukaku's been in a lot of conversations with regards to flop of the season. Was he the right investment? Things of that nature. I'm going to look at the comments, but one thing I have to say, and as you brought this up, Prince and Tyrus was chiming in. There's, in my opinion, there's no other club like Manchester United that's able to identify a scapegoat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's scapegoat FC.
Yes.
They
Why they've
find
got
the
about
player.
9 scapegoats this season.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, the fact
Ronaldo's fault. No, it's Rashford's
li-
fault. No, it's Wan-Bissaka's fault.
literally
No, it's Van de Beek's fault. No, it's Ten Hag's fault. No, it's Ollie's fault. Everyone wants
Yeah.
to
literally
blame it United.
think about that though. They literally try to put the blame on Ronaldo. And I'm like, if it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
not for
Yeah.
Ronaldo, you're definitely further down the table. Granted,
know
I know
what
his
it's
work
like,
rate's not there, and maybe that
to hear
affects the
your own
rest of the
fans say
play.
that
But
type of shit?
that
Mhm.
man has what 18 goals this year or something like that.
You asked, by the
Something
way,
like that,
Vader. You asked Vader. You said, "Are Chelsea underachieving or underperforming or something like that?" They've got the third best team in England, and they're third in the Premier League. They're exactly where they should be. Lukaku wouldn't get into the City team. Lukaku wouldn't get into the Liverpool team, which means he
Yeah.
goes to Chelsea, and they're the third best team. So it's
Yeah.
just
Yes, and I agree with you. Robin
agree with
Fanta threw out the comment, and let me try to say it out real quick. Chelsea went into the signing many people's favorites as a European. Okay, sorry. Chelsea went into the season. He wanted to say many people's favorites, and as a European champions, they signed a top striker and have managed to get third. It was a terrible season for them. Now, what I wanted to say, and here's where we as this panel, and thanks for tuning in to Vader Games TV, another episode of Why Always Me. Although it's not just me this time, I've got the panel. This is next level thinking, right? It's easy to think down here. It's easy to just take things at surface level, but when we actually look at it at a deeper level, yes, I agree with you guys with saying Chelsea should be third. But if we look even deeper into their season with regards to some of the losses that they took, or maybe at another time, because again, I wanted to talk FA Cup. I think we should dissect teams definitely after the season's over, and it's going to be final EPL final Sunday this Sunday. But it's the losses that Chelsea's kind of taken from other teams, and then it's also the point difference between them and quote unquote the top
Yeah.
teams in the league, the point gap, as well as how close they are in terms of their point and the proximity to the teams behind them. Right? I would say that yes, finishing third, that's where they should be. However, to be what is it, two
That far
points
third.
that far third and only 2 points away
is it
from a
though? Is
Spurs.
it? I'm
I
sorry, but
mean,
Manchester United finished second 4 years ago,
Yeah.
19 points behind City. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
19 points behind City in first on 100 points. Chelsea this season, and I'll go back to, I love Sir Alex Ferguson because he provides me with a lot of knowledge. Chelsea have lost 6 Premier League games this season. Sir Alex Ferguson said that you can't lose more than 6 Premier League games if you want to be champions. So they've lost 6, which is less than more than 6, obviously. They've got 71 points. In about 15 of the previous Premier League seasons, that's nearly enough points to win the league. It's just so that it's because City and Liverpool are steroid freaks that we're so far ahead of everyone else. We make Chelsea look even worse than they actually are because they're not. Because, like I said, Sir Alex Ferguson, winner of 13 Premier League titles, you can't lose more than 6. They've not done that. They've lost 6.
Yeah.
So they're not actually that terrible. It's just that we're so good.
Well,
Yeah.
do you guys think that Chelsea finishes third again next year? With
Oof.
Rudiger leaving.
Ooh, see, this is Tyribbs. This is a topic for next week. This is a topic for
The
next
thing,
week.
I mean, but the thing is, like, just to summarize it, I feel like there's a 1A and a 1B, right? 1A is City and Liverpool. There's no one that has really proved that they can match that level of competitiveness over 38 games. And then you have your Tottenham, you have your Chelsea, you have your Arsenal. I'm not even going to put Man U in there because they haven't looked relevant in the better part of 2 years now. But like you have that B tier, right? And it's
Mhm.
like that B tier is always going to give the top 2 a run for their money. But
Yeah.
in reality, over a 38 game season, that B tier is going to lose your games to Everton. You're going to lose your games to Crystal Palace. You're going to lose you're going to lose that odd game that no one expects the other team to win. And that's what I feel like makes you a champion. You don't lose those games.
Right.
You
Right.
can't
I
lose those
agree.
games.
I agree. I think it's a very underrated thing this season. Like
Once
you could
Chelsea
drop
loses
points.
to Everton, it's dead. It's dead. I'm an Everton fan, but in reality,
we dropped 6 points to Tottenham this season. First game of the season. Now, if anyone listening, the first game of the season that City plays is a bye. It's a bye. We just lose that.
Yeah,
We
we're
just
terrible
lose that.
first. Yeah.
Well, I think that
But
like you could easily drop points to big 6 teams and still win the league, but you just can't lose. Like like Prince said, you can't lose those games that like you are
You can't
expected to
lose
win.
either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember like one season where like Man City should have tied this game, and that's why they haven't won the league just yet. Like
I mean, think about it though, because the whole title race is a whole lot different. I'm just saying, if that when City played Everton, Rodri gets that handball and City puts away the penalty. Think about it. Where are we at?
If you're an actual Evertonian, then you're hoping that Rodri signs an NBA contract because you loved him handling that ball and not getting caught.
How
Because if you're
so?
not,
Oh, yes,
then you
you're
want the
correct.
top heights to get a quadruple.
You're correct,
So-
but at the time, think about it. At the time, we haven't beat Chelsea, we haven't beat Man U, we haven't beat anybody. I think that was right after we got slapped up 5-0 by Tottenham, and it's like we need every single point we can get at that point, because at that stage of the season, it is looking dire at best.
Yeah, absolutely. But now you're out buying a Rodri shirt.
Oh, now I'm like, yeah, fine. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's yes, you're correct in that. Yeah, we're a PG stream, so I'm not gonna say it. Liverpool can go take one, but yeah.
I think where we're going to go with the team breakdown, the Chelsea
Can we do report cards?
evaluation. We could do report cards. We could
Down with
do actually because obviously we weren't all together. We weren't doing the show. We could actually do a what did we think of Chelsea? What did we think of a particular list of teams?
Yeah.
At the start, what did we think midway, and then obviously what did we think prior or at conclusion of the season? I'm gonna read this one comment and then we'll move on to the next topic. Rainbow says, everyone seems to forget United were second last year. They were our closest competitor. Liverpool scraped fourth. They actually did, yeah, with a brilliant finish from Allison. I think it was like a last minute header. So they weren't a contender as we walked the league, but they were close. So we're definitely going to have to do a show breaking down the teams, talking about our teams. And Rainbow Fanta, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get into the next topic, and I think this. I'm going to do my best so it doesn't run long, because we could talk about this actually for the entire show. But EPL final Sunday, who wins? And I know who wins is such an open question. There's every team is playing on Sunday, which makes it one of the most fantastic special days in sports. But I'm going to ask Tyribbs, because you've actually had a surprisingly long break with Manchester United, right? We talked about this.
Oh yeah, absolutely like bewildered by that. We played 3 games in 9 days and then took a 15-day break.
Yeah,
all Prem games, so it's not even like it's other cups. Like why?
I don't know where you or who you gave the brown envelope to maybe have your players properly recharge and allow Cristiano Ronaldo to go in his hyperbolic chambers or freeze. What is it? Is freeze saunas or whatever those freeze chambers were?
It was I think it was a cryo chamber.
Cryo chambers,
He just went into.
which prevents him from aging. If you guys have seen any of the Marvel movies with regards to Winter Soldier, think of that. Think of when he's not in use, he's in there, frozen, being preserved, and when it's time to play, he comes out and does his thing. But Manchester United had a fantastic break between games, and now obviously they play on final Sunday. What is your expectation for them, the final game against Crystal Palace?
I can't tell you honestly. I have no clue. We're gonna win. We're either gonna win 3-0 or lose 3-0. Like,
okay,
Nah, I think Menu's been dead in the water for the better part of 2 months. I think
Yeah,
they start every game so flat. That team
They
looks
really
like
do.
they have no desire, and they're easily just ready to take the paycheck at the end of the week.
they literally look like they're just dead inside, and they actually, I don't know if you guys heard, but they literally canceled the team banquet or the ceremony after the season that was supposed to happen like a couple days ago because they literally felt embarrassed by the season.
they canceled a Is it a team or is it a fan team?
No, it's the end of season like dinner. Like Brighton just had theirs. I think you probably saw it in the news because their defender won their Player of the Season award. Like it's when
Oh,
you
so
like
they
do that
scrapped
like
that.
yeah, they scrapped that.
They scrapped the ceremony where you're like you acknowledge most
The
improved player
Player
in
of
the
the Year
squad and
basically on
play.
the team.
Youth
Holy
player.
crap!
Yeah. So like that's where like the team is at, and you could tell mentally that's where they're on the team,
I'm-
like on the pitch.
I mean, at
Okay,
least they recognize that
hold
they're
Oh
on,
a
hold
yes,
dog.
on.
I
No,
agree. I'm very happy they at least recognize it.
okay, hold on, hold on. I'm going off on. I'm going to go off on a
Go,
tangent here.
go.
So
It's a big deal, honestly.
Manchester United are so proud of themselves and the standards that they've had in the past that they put the kibosh on a annual ceremony to recognize player efforts because they're what, seventh in the league? What are they right now?
I
Sixth?
think it's 6 or
I don't
7. I don't
know,
know.
but
I don't know because of
it'd
games
be the
today.
same thing as if Everton did the same thing because we finished 16th.
Yeah,
I
they're
Yeah.
mean,
sixth in the they're sixth in
Everton
the
But
has
league.
9 top flight championships, not Prem, but top flight championships. And be like, all right, we finished 16th. Let's cancel the whole dinner because we finished 16th. No,
That's
people need
crazy.
recognition.
That's what
Anthony
I'm
Gordon.
saying.
it's I don't think it's because like the team thought they didn't deserve it. From what I've seen in the news, it was more of the players said that they didn't feel like they deserved to be
Oh,
honored
but
for the season.
they're still gonna collect their checks though.
Like from
Wow.
what I've
Well,
seen, like
Ferguson used to do it with individual players. Ferguson used to do it all the time with individual players.
yeah,
Tell them that they
like
weren't allowed to go to the end of season awards or the end of season dinner. He'd kick
Fair,
individual players out. Yeah.
fair enough though, because you have to hold I think that's ever since Fergie left, and even for a period of time with Mourinho, I just feel as if there's no accountability, there's no responsibility. No one can be like, dang, like you really suck. Pick up your attitude because there's never been a manager that demands it, that
yeah,
has had the prestige and the respect to demand it.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you cancel everything, it's like you label every player at Manchester United with not giving their all. But we know that not every player got their opportunity to actually get their minutes or play. So I actually understand Fergie saying.
uh,
I
I
understand
feel like a
Fergie
lot of
looking.
players got a shot this year.
No, but I
The
get
So,
what
players
you're
would
that
saying,
you have an
Vader.
didn't,
award?
Van Beek.
Would you really give an award? I'm sorry, Ole didn't let you play Donny van der Beek, but here's a trophy. You cancel the whole thing. The season
Yeah,
was a shambles. The club needs
exactly.
completely rebuilding, and that's where they start. They
I
start by laying down the law.
and holding accountability. I mean,
Hmm.
yes, I understand, Vader, where you're coming from. You're punishing all players for the responsibility of, let's say, 15 players, and because 15 to 18 players are the ones that actually are on the field. So right, I genuinely think maybe like Alonga did pretty well this year. A
He
young
had a
player.
Yeah.
I
I didn't expect a lot from
genuinely
him.
think Sancho did okay when he was given match after match after match and not spotty minutes here and there.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys
You
actually
know,
hear about like why Sancho like? Did you guys hear that he's actually just a left winger and he hates playing on the right?
I mean, it doesn't matter where he plays. The thing is, he never played. That's the
Well, no,
that's my issue with him.
Okay. But
that is a
Tyribbs.
valid
Yeah.
issue, but
No, but
the
Tyribbs.
fact
I'll
of the
get
matter,
to that. Tyribbs. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But I just want to finish this point. And I hear what you're saying, Rob. But hear me out. With Sir Alex Ferguson saying and looking across the locker room or talking to the players individually and saying, you're not coming to the annual banquet. You're not coming. You're coming. When you have um, Judea, I always butcher his name, but when you have him, like you mentioned, Prince, when you have Sancho, when you have um, the striker who actually performed, Alanga, um, I don't know,
I think it's more for the younger
McTominay,
players that actually
yeah, some of
showed a
the
desire to go out there and
or try to do their thing, yeah.
work
But
for the
now,
badge.
right, and now when you as a manager say, and I'm not going to just point at
Mhm.
specific players, but when you say Cavani, I don't want to see your face, right? And you look at Pogba, I don't want to see you at the, like, that sends I think that
But you
sends an even better message in terms of what's required, what's accepted as a club, as opposed to like the blanket dismissal of everybody.
but I feel like if you look at it the other way too, right? Maybe the Alangas, maybe the younger players that don't have a voice on that team. Look who's on
Mhm.
that team. These are dudes that are making
Too
millions a
much.
year, who have
Too much.
reputations to, and it's like, all right, the manager said no one's having a dinner.
Okay, but
Finally,
again, I
someone
do
is
want to
holding
stress
something
that.
responsible
I bet
for
you, I bet
I
you
do
a
want to stress
pocket
that
full
this
of
seems more like
loonies
a
and
player
toonies.
decision than a manager decision.
what?
I bet you a pocket full of loonies and toonies, right? That Cristiano Ronaldo was number one who said we should not have a party.
Yeah,
Bet you. I
yeah.
absolutely bet you.
Oh
I
yeah.
also feel like he's the type of person to hold himself responsible. I mean, but the thing is, he scores 18, 19 goals. He does relatively well. The only thing is maybe his effort isn't there, but what do you expect out of a 38-year-old?
Hmm.
And granted, he's
Hmm.
Cristiano Ronaldo and he's a physical freak, but like, man, the dude did what you signed him to do. And
Mhm.
yet people are gonna still trying to find a scapegoat him. I don't agree with that, man. And people saying, oh, like he should leave, new manager coming in. I'm like, maybe, but I genuinely think with Ten Hag coming in and being like, we have to whip it up. Like nobody's getting carried around, nobody's freeloading. His super high press, super energetic teams. Maybe Ronaldo responds to that because it'll be the first time
Hmm.
since Real Madrid that he's had that. Because at Juventus they did the same thing. Sit back, Ronaldo gets the ball and watch him work.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, from what I've also heard about the whole Ronaldo and Ten Hag thing, is that Ronaldo has no interest in leaving because he actually wants to help like fix Man U, and he's excited to work with Ten Hag. So like that's kind of good to hear because I
He,
was worried that like he was
he's
gonna
he's
try to jump ship immediately when he was gonna play in the European Conference,
he's
maybe.
he's also not getting a 35% stake of Inter Miami, so I don't know what his next option is or
Yeah.
where he's gonna go.
Honestly, I wouldn't
I
be
don't know
surprised
where
if
he
he did
goes.
get a similar deal with Miami. Not 35,
No,
but
he didn't. Messi, whether the reported deal is Messi after next year
yeah,
gets a
yeah, yeah,
35% stake of Inter
yeah.
Miami to play for them.
Hmm.
Wow.
He already bought a condo there last year, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's
But like
like
you're gonna tell me
Y-
Beckham's not gonna try to get both though?
United are rotten to the core, though, Vator. And what you do when something's rotten to the core is you don't sit there and admire it, you chop it down and start again. So,
fair enough.
listen, even if there's one player out of a squad of 25 that's deserving of an end of season award, you know what? The club will probably do something privately for 2 or 3 players that do deserve
Hmm.
recognition. But
I hear
hosting
that.
a party where they invite the wags and the wives and the best mates and their agents and the hangers on, no, that is the cancer that's killing United, and that is what they need to get rid of, and that's what they're doing. And I back it completely. Even if some players like Alanga and Sancho feel a little bit downtrodden that they're not getting a party, because guess what? If they perform next year, they will get a better party.
But
I
it's
So
hear
it,
that.
it's
I
not
hear
even
that.
that. I just feel like it's finishing sixth for Man U has never been the standard. So why are we going to celebrate that in any aspect, individually or team? Right?
Mhm.
There's always been the whole we do this as a team thing, and so if as the team doesn't perform, it's like why are we going to throw a party for individuals? Now we're individuals all of a sudden, but no, this is a team sport.
I hear that. I hear that. I'm gonna throw. Let me read this comment from Rainbow. He goes, "The culture at United comes from the top. It won't change until the owners go." And there's a large portion of that I definitely agree with. In terms of like ownership and culture,
Yes.
that it's unavoidable. It does have an effect.
I,
I do agree with you and what Prince Tyribbs, Rob, with what you're saying with regards to the season ending. I mean the year end banquet with regards to the team finishing sixth, and that's not something you celebrate. I get all that, and I agree. Like you can look at the final result. Here's where they netted out. We're not celebrating this. I also see the point of what Rob said. You just cut it clean. You're going to do things You're going to do things individually, not in a ceremonial way, but you're going to give recognition to the players that need to be because, like you said, these type of ceremonies can actually encompass a lot more than just the players. And let's not waste time. Let's not waste the money. It
Mhm.
wasn't quite worth it. I hear that. I hear that. Nice. Let me hit this up real quick. And we're going to get into You guys may agree, you guys may disagree, but we got to talk about it. The EPL. The EPL should be thanking Manchester City. They should be thanking Pep. They should be thanking the squad. They should be thanking Manchester City fans because what ended up happening in that West Ham match that resulted in a draw prolonged the quad talk for Liverpool, and obviously the preferred narrative, the preferred storyline that the EPL wanted. I've talked about this on Twitter. I've had other conversations. When it comes to media coverage for Liverpool, I accept how slanted it is. The same way I accept how slanted it is for Manchester United. During early EPL days, during their heyday in terms of gathering their building their fandom, building their popularity, we get it. The
I was
history
about to
with
say, what coverage are you watching? Like, I am not seeing any good coverage of Man U.
no. But what I'm saying is, if you even with regards to additional media, right, radio, print, the fan base is large. The fan base is very, very big, and it's all about clicks. It's all about money. It's all about selling. It's all about consumption. So if you're going to get as many clicks or eyeballs as possible, you're going to cater to the larger population, right? And we can't, I don't think that we can truly argue against Liverpool and Manchester United having the larger fan base when we do take into account global fans.
Everton's
So
in there. Just saying.
Everton's up there. I'm not taking any away, but in terms of like the two majors, I would argue that those are one and two. You choose who's one and two. So if the media is going to cater to them, we get it. They're what we say these days. They're twerking for Manchester United. They're twerking for Liverpool because they
Twerking for the
want
rupees.
they want to get those clicks. So I understand. I understand the slant, right? But where I have a huge problem, and you guys tell me if you've seen it or if you haven't. But a couple games back, Manchester City played first. I forget who they played, but they won their match. Okay, they won their match, and it was 3 points, I believe, was the caption. Um, and and then when Liverpool won their match, and I bookmarked this on Twitter just so I could save it. When Liverpool won their match, the caption from the EPL was "One step closer."
It's also worth noting they were still in second place at the time,
Yes,
even with the 3 points.
even
I
with
mean,
the win,
one
right?
step closer to second place. I mean, they never specified.
They didn't,
Okay.
but they walked a very loose thread.
Yes. And you know what? No, I think I got it wrong, actually. I think I got it wrong. I think that caption came out because when Liverpool plays first, they would go ahead of City, right? It was that time. It was before Liverpool actually suffered their draw to Tottenham, which changed things. But depending on which team played first, whether it was Manchester City, whether it was Liverpool, whoever played first and went ahead, and Liverpool had won, and that was the caption from the EPL, which was unavoidable in terms of Manchester City fans, rival fans, neutral fans, Liverpool fans. They all saw it. Now, I think that is unacceptable.
That's right.
Do you guys happen to see a similar slant in terms of coverage with regards to Liverpool and Manchester City? And I'm gonna throw this to you, Prince.
All right. As a neutral,
Well,
yeah.
hold on.
Hey, he threw it to Prince.
No.
He
Wait,
threw it to Prince. He
I
threw it to
know,
Prince.
but
Relax,
I
relax,
want to give you.
brother.
I didn't
Your
give you a
name is not Prince,
timeline.
brother. Brother,
I know, but
relax.
this happened during the Everton game.
Ay, Jesus.
It
Nah.
started. I'm just letting you know. It started during the Everton game. That's the timetable for this.
What's
Because there's a
started?
lot like this whole Liverpool conspiracy thing. Because it started when Carragher Jamie
Oh,
saw
Carragher
Richarlison.
hates. Carragher hates Everton.
Yeah,
Yet
but
always
Yeah.
gets
it was
Everton.
mainly because he was criticizing Richarlison all game for
Yeah, I
flopping.
know.
Then he got actually injured. That was the same
Yeah,
day
but
as
but the thing is, it's also listen. Man, listen. All right, I'm not even going to go into that part. Carragher can
Okay.
go somewhere else. As a neutral, yes, I think the general consensus, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Liverpool is
Wait. How could you be a neutral? You're an Everton fan.
for Man City. Oh well, you're correct.
But go ahead.
Relatively
No, but
neutral.
your
So
point is
I
accepted
just
though.
think the point of emphasis is Man City bought their team, Liverpool built their team, right? And people are more apt to be like, oh, kinder to the we built our team. In reality, I think if you look at the net spend between both teams, it's pretty close. Granted, did Liverpool go and spend 200 million in a window? No, but they consistently spent 50, 60 million each window. And so it's like, man, I think people hate on City because they see it as like, oh, it's a money club. People don't hate on Liverpool because it's a historic club of England, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, well,
I think Little City won trophies 50 years before Liverpool did, but
that's
never
what I'm
mind.
saying.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like City came out of left field. There's a reason Holland is going back to, he's going to City. His dad was there,
Yeah.
No, but in reality, just I just it's just a Liverpool bias, and it's crazy to think that if Liverpool doesn't sign Salah, doesn't sign Mane, where are they today? Because don't forget, 5-6 years ago they were floundering like Everton mid-table. I think people really forget that. Liverpool was on the brink of, do we fall down to fight relegations? And after the whole slip in the Suarez, spending the Suarez money on Balotelli, Ricky Lambert, Lallana, they didn't do anything.
who
They
was
did
their front
literally
three?
nothing. Their
Because I
front three
remember
was like Origi, Balotelli, and I don't even know, man.
Arnold, something like that. I
Sturridge.
remember.
Sterling? Yeah, I think
No,
Sterling.
no, no, no. Like a bald
Sturridge.
dude. Skull. No, it's SK. It was some dude that like I've never heard of again. Because it was the same time as like MSN and
Well, they had Iago Aspas. That was another one. They had Iago Aspas, who's at Celta Vigo, I think, and scores like 20 something goals a year for
Mm.
in La Liga. But I don't know. I just know that it's man, they get a lot of slack for no reason. No reason. Or not slack. They get a lot of slack. Yeah, for no reason.
Let me ask you this, Rob, as I check these comments though. Rob, what do you think of the perceived slant in terms of is it in our heads? Is it there or
No,
is
not at
there?
all. I mean, Jamie Carragher, by the way, he's an Everton fan from Bootle, but you'd never know it.
You would literally never know it. That man slanders. I mean, maybe he
Yeah, of
picks
course,
players.
I know he does because
Yeah.
he's a whore for cash, so that's fine.
Yeah,
Let him
literally.
get on with his waffle.
Literally.
By the way, Rainbow Fanta is Rich, my co-host on our channel, but he's on his daughter's YouTube account for some weird reason.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comments.
Is the media bias? Yeah, there's always been a media bias. There's always. I mean, like look at the Sun newspaper. Look at B Sky B. I mean, Rupert Murdoch before the founding of the Premier League was trying to buy Manchester United Football Club. And then is it any coincidence that Manchester United go on to win 8 out of the first 10 Premier Leagues and are the media darlings? Well, of course they are, because that was the club that Rupert Murdoch coveted. Liverpool. What's the story of Liverpool? Oh, the so-called working class, so-called people's club, founded by Tories. If you don't know what a Tory is, I can't use swear words. I can really kind of. At least I can't use extreme swear words. Basically, Liverpool Football Club is the Donald Trump of football. Basically, they hate working people, they hate ethnic people, they hate minorities. Blah 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 blah.
I guess would be the word in the
extreme
US.
conservative.
Conservative. Yeah.
And also, like and Liverpool's history is absolutely insane. The evil and horrible things that they've done.
They also, I
Fact.
believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they split off from Everton. They were
other way around.
Is it the other way around?
Yeah, other way around, and it was at Anfield. But Everton is the working class people's club. Anyway, and you know how I feel, and we've got into on different shows. We've talked about what working class means for football. But in the 1970s and 1980s, when Liverpool were funded by Littlewoods Pools money, which was the oil club money of its day, by the way, not a lot of people care to know that. Littlewoods Pools is basically like the lottery. You know, you have state lotteries and national lotteries and stuff like that. So they doped financially in the 70s and 80s, Liverpool, and they got the most successful players, which, by the way, at that time happened to come from places like Scotland and not Argentina. Strange that, and it's Scotland, because, I mean, there's 2 good Scottish footballers left in the world. And
yeah, that is crazy. Crazy.
So you had Lawrenson, Hansen, and all these other players. When they came to retire, that was when the Sky was coming around, and that was when BBC Sport was coming around and all the rest of it. So they got jobs as presenters and hosts, and it was that way for 30 years. And that's why there is such a media bias. And now you look at it now, it's former United players like Hargreaves, Scholes, Keane, Neville, because it's at the end of their rotation cycle. And in 10, 15 years' time, it will be former City players. You know, you'll have more Micah Richardses, you'll have Vincent Kompany or something like that. Yeah. That's how it is. It's just cyclical. But the fact of the matter is that we went through the Liverpool cycle, then the United cycle back to back. And now this sort of like crossover between Liverpool and United. By the way, which is hilarious, Liverpool and United have spent this season being best mates for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Being best mates. They're that jealous and that bloody broken by City that they're best mates now. I've seen so many United fans, global United fans, back in Liverpool.
Yeah, it's
and
so
vice
weird.
versa. It's insane. They have no idea about their football clubs that they pretend to support.
Fun fact, it is actually Liverpool split off from Everton. Liverpool FC was founded following a dispute.
Anfield, though, right?
Yes, it was a dispute between the Everton committee versus the Anfield landowners, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So Liverpool was birthed from Everton to a degree. We'll hold on to that one, but
yeah, that's actually pretty similar.
I'm actually going to be sad when they move into their new stadium, because it is literally, what is the park between the two stadiums? It's literally a park. You see both stadiums from the one park.
Yeah.
Me and Tyribbs
It's called Stanley Park, by the way.
Stanley Park,
that's my favorite joke, if you've ever listened to our channel, Vator, is whenever we get some Liverpool fan giving it the big one in the chat, and I'll say, "You've never even sniffed Stanley Park, mate," and they're like, "What's a Stanley Park?"
Yeah, no, I've actually been there. Fun fact: me and Tyribbs went to.
I wasn't
Liverpool.
saying you. Don't get bloody hell.
No. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Protest too much. I wasn't saying you.
No. I'm just saying because from the US, but we've actually been to been there. We've been there. It was cool. It was definitely an experience.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Just don't ask about the trip to Old Trafford. That was hard.
Don't ever what?
Don't ask about the trip to Old Trafford. That was heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, there was like a Hannah Montana concert or something. They wouldn't let him in.
Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Sorry, Ty. Sorry.
So Rich said it in your chat there. He said about Littlewoods Pools, and Littlewoods Pools was basically a poor tax. It was the exploitation of poor people, and it funded Liverpool for 30 years. It's the same stick. You know the stick that they beat us with now about oil money?
Yeah.
It's the same stick, but it's actually worse. People who say oil money are basically racists, and they just don't want to admit that they're racist. But the Littlewood Pools money it's the exploitation of working class and poor people.
Yeah. When I hear oil money, it's like a dog whistle. It's them saying it without saying it. So
I was actually thinking that too. Like when we talk about when Prince brought up how much Liverpool's been sending, it's probably not that much to City, but I'm the only difference is Man City got oil money. That's it. It's even Man U. You could say the same thing. You could it's just oil. One of it's oil money. The other one's you know what I can't even talk about.
Commercial money.
It's money. It's money. Why does it matter that it's oil money? It's just money.
Right.
Exactly.
I think, and again, I'm actually working on a different. It's going to be a consistent show, and thanks for tuning in. This is Why Always Me, VatorgamesTV. I'm Vator Games. If you're new to the channel, hit that follow button. If you happen to be watching this and it's been recorded, so you're watching it kind of on demand, again, follow the channel, subscribe if you're new, hit that notification so you know when I go live. I'm going to be doing this a lot more regularly, and the hope is to be able to have more panel shows, because having multiple perspectives is always the better way to go. And thanks for every comment that's been shared tonight. On future shows, I do want to talk about some of the consistent criticisms that we get at our clubs, whether it's Manchester City, Manchester United, Everton.
Everton doesn't get criticism.
Well, you guys
They
do
get
get
credit for just showing up.
you do get some criticism, especially as of late with the managers that you gone through with some of
with the
the
whole spending 500 million and not having anything to show for it.
Yeah.
I get it.
500 million and you won a spot in the Premier League.
Yes,
16th
sir. Listen, some people
So-
envy us. It happens.
So that's going to be that has to be another show, and I think it'll spark a great conversation. What I think every fan should recognize, and if we didn't have it this final week within the EPL, wouldn't have the same nervousness, wouldn't have the same energy, wouldn't have all the speculation that many fans are doing. Who's going to win it? What's going to happen in the top four? What's going to happen in the bottom four? What's going to happen with regards to qualifying for Europa or Europa Conference? Like all of that. So we will definitely talk about relegation, because I think we believe actually now that it's set, or do we still think that there's movement? Let me say
There's
this.
No,
movement.
it's
Leeds and
actually it's
Burnley, innit?
50-50 in my opinion. Who
There's
gets
movement.
relegated.
Well, I think Burnley have got 18. They're both on minus goals. Leeds are on minus 38. Burnley are on minus
Yeah,
18.
their leads are
Essentially,
abysmal.
Leeds has to do better than Burnley. So whether it be Burnley loses, Leeds ties, Burnley ties, Leeds
Or
wins.
my favorite scenario is Leeds
Burnley-
win 22-0 and Burnley win 1-0 and
Yes.
Leeds stay up.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely insane. Do you guys have, Tyribbs, do you have a preference whether Leeds remains in the EPL or Burnley?
Yeah, I obviously want Leeds to get relegated.
You want Leeds out, Man United fan? Okay. What about
Yeah, I
you?
want
What about you,
well,
Prince?
there's rumors that we're looking at signing Phillips and Rafinha, which both players I would happily take at Man U.
You little vulture. What is wrong with you?
I want that relegation discount.
You're just jealous because nobody ever talks
Hilarious.
about, oh, somebody's trying to sign Sancho, somebody's trying to sign Pogba. It never happens to you. Anyways, I prefer Burnley. I genuinely think, I mean, it's tragic that they don't do it with Sean Dyche, but I feel like Burnley is run how a club is kind of supposed to be run, in the way that like they don't always they don't outstep their boundaries, right? And they've been pretty successful so far.
Yeah.
Leeds, I think, as a historic club, would be nice to have in the Prem. But I'm curious to see what the transition is from Bielsa ball to what does it become now, because obviously that was untenable.
Yeah, I think that's also why I think Leeds should get relegated. Like they definitely tried to fly too close to the sun, and like they got burned way too bad.
Okay.
No, I think
Like-
they ran into injury issues and stuff like that, because it all worked, but the thing is, they're worked so much that it's not sustainable injury wise. Like you're working these dudes, and I think some of the stats, like in training, that some of the trainings they do is like ridiculous.
Yeah, I've heard the same. Like the sports science in terms of like
It's not favorable to them.
yeah, how, like, if you want to talk about load management, we've heard that in the NBA with
Yeah.
regards to players and the effort that they put into their play in practice as well as games, wasn't managed very well. Rob, do you have a preference with whether it's Leeds or Burnley staying in the EPL?
I've seen City play Burnley in every division of football, every division, and we've gone from battering them 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, and 6-0 to still battering them 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. So 6 points a season's decent, like, but I'm being told by ITK Horsfield, and ITK means in the know, that apparently we're signing Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
And apparently it's a lot cheaper if Leeds get relegated.
Yes.
So
Okay.
as I am a
cost
fan of
30,
an
40 mil.
economical club, and as you know, Manchester City don't spend any money, that would be favourable to us.
Gotcha. All right. I'm from a financial standpoint, I can see that consistency
That
with
makes
regards to a new acquisition and getting it on the cheap, or getting it for the right price.
Actually,
The same way
I-
we did it for Erling Haaland. I hear what you're saying.
Can I change my my answer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, Burnley needs to go down.
Burnley
Everton needs either a Ben Mee or James Tarkowski in the middle of the back line to put some semblance of order and discipline there. So,
so
Burnley needs to go down. Yeah. I'm down for the vulture aspect. I'm down for when our back line.
And now you're doing it.
Yeah. When our back line makes 12 mistakes that lead to goals in a season, something needs to change.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Rob. You're going to say something?
I'm just saying, I like it. I like the shit house attitude of if they get relegated, we can
they get relegated.
Yeah,
start
pick them apart like they're a nice steak.
True, but like I just don't see how Man City's gonna have to sell someone big to like afford that financial fair. Man City,
what do you mean?
Oh, here we go.
What do you mean?
Get the Man U fans out of here.
What do you
Nobody wants to hear financial fair play.
Hold on. Let me just destroy him in a second. You've been silly now, son. You've been silly. You have spent 1.5 billion.
I'm not saying. No, I think Man U's in a similar boat. Like
we've spent 1 billion and we've won 10 trophies for that money, which means each trophy works out to about 50 million a year.
Yeah.
Add to that winning the Premier League throughout the last
criticizing the spending.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying we're in profit. We're in profit. So there's no financial fair play to talk about. Without injection of money from Sheikh Mansour, because he's not put money into the club for about 5 years. Without his wallet, we're in profit.
Yeah.
So there's no talk about FFP. No talk about FFP.
Does bonuses go into FFP as well? Like signing bonuses and all that stuff?
What do you mean signing bonuses?
What
You're
do you mean?
Man U.
Pogba's contract's worth about 7 billion.
Okay,
obviously. The reason you can't sell players is because their salaries are too high. There's a reason your players are worth nothing.
We don't even break the top 10 contracts in England.
Tell them.
No, I know.
Just absolutely. Honestly, I thought you were a decent guy, and then you started reading the Sun newspaper.
No. I was looking at Man City's contract or
I live for this.
The other day.
Financial fair play.
How cheap they have some of the players. Like I saw Phil Foden's contract, and I almost threw my phone.
What do you mean? He's on about, until last season, the guy was on 8 grand. He was on 8 grand a year until last season. Do you want him to get a Saturday job?
Phenomenal. No, that's
do you want him to work on the weekend?
It's crazy because the U24s or the U21s for Man U probably make more than Foden made last year. Just saying. How much is what is Medri making? What's Hannibal making?
I'll tell you.
He's probably making 15 to 20,000 a week.
Sorry,
don't talk about financial fair play in Everton, please.
Tyribbs, I'll scale it down. You just wanted to ask, before we could acquire new talent, you were saying that we would have to get rid of some talent?
Well, no, not talent-wise. I just mean you signed Haaland for like the decent price of 75 mil, which he's valued. I think he's valued at more, but luckily you got lucky with his.
See, look, even inflating that euros, nobody deals in euros unless you're trying to inflate something. There's ulterior motives there, Vator.
Yeah. What is it? 68 million pounds? 65? Something like that, right?
I usually only see.
I heard 50. I heard 51.
Is it 51? I don't know. What
we'll talk about Paul Pogba's contract, but what we'll do is we'll talk about it in Turkish lira. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in dollars.
168 billion Turkish lira. Yeah? Sounds bad, doesn't it?
Let's see. Pogba.
The Gea makes like if you put him on, he's making the most.
That's a point of conflict for me. Why are you paying your goalie the most on the entire team, bro? It's a goalie. Go sign another goalie.
I didn't say he was.
You have Dean Henderson. I don't know why you're giving your goalie 350,000 pounds a week. He doesn't do nothing.
You're preaching to the choir. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. I was just talking to Teddy about it today because De Gea had a great year, and I know the club's not going to force him out after a great year.
You're gonna
Why-
re-sign him for a better contract.
I know. I've seen the same news. It's a terrible, terrible idea, and I don't know why we're going to do it. Meanwhile, we're also about to sell Henderson to Newcastle. The deal's already 90% done from what I've seen, and
Oh,
we're about
wow.
to sign De Gea to a new contract to put him probably around 400,000 a week. Meanwhile, we have
That's
Ronaldo
more
on
than Kevin
500.
De Bruyne. What?
Exactly.
Oh my
That's my
God.
point.
For a dude
No,
that
I'm-
sits in the goal. I'm just saying.
That's
So,
my
you know
point.
what?
I'm saying Man City has a phenomenal wage bill. Like they have a very lucky wage bill.
Go off for 70 million. You
Okay.
get Jordan Pickford on less wages.
I missed this comment earlier, but Rainbow Fanta did mention that this is an alternative, which would be hilarious. He goes, "What about City loses 6-0 and Liverpool draw 5-5, and we have a playoff?"
Yeah, I heard about that. It's extremely unlikely, but like I swear to God, if Man City bottles the league, I'm never gonna forgive them.
No, yeah, it would. It's
You
going
wanted
to
us to
be.
go out of business a
Are
minute
you a
ago
Man
because we
U
were
fan?
spending too much money.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
what's
it
going on
pains-
here, huh?
It pains me.
Huh?
It pains me to say this as a Man U fan,
You
but
would
like
be
I can
awful
never
in
forgive.
court. You would be awful in court. You
I
would get
would.
torn to
You're
shreds.
Amber Heard's lawyer.
Yeah.
Objection.
Sustained.
No, but like I like the only positive I could see the season going was Man City not winning Champions League and Liverpool not getting a treble after all the fans have been
That's
praising
crazy.
the
You
Yeah.
quadruple.
didn't even say
Can I
Everton
say
not getting
something, Your Honor?
relegated. That's
And
so
I was
crazy.
getting there.
That's you know what?
Your
Nah, I'll
Honor.
take your disrespect when Everton smacks the life out of Man U twice next year. I don't want to hear
Your
it.
Honor. Hope that
Your
happens
Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor, Vader. Can I say something?
Yes, of
Up
course.
until last season, I've been alive that long that I'd saw City be relegated more times than they won titles. So finishing sixth for Manchester United, calm down, son. It's not that bad.
Yes. So, and this, I talked about this on a previous show. Again, if you follow the channel, you know when I'm live. But I do another show as well, and always appreciative of the invite from True City fan and Carl Gunnelorian. But they had me on the show, and it was it's football and chill. It's actually the second episode that's happened. But they brought up the point about Ten Hag and what do we think, just guessing, right? And I said, I think that he's a capable manager. I know this isn't one of the topics. We're off on a little tangent, but it's fine. I think he's a capable manager. I've seen what he's been able to do at Ajax. No questions there. There was speculation that he might be the next manager had Pep not decided to remain here as long as he did.
Luis Enrique.
But yeah, he's another option. But I honestly think that the Manchester United fan base is the reason why Ten Hag won't work.
Is diluted? Yes.
They're deluded. They're privileged. They're self-righteous. They're spoiled brats. They expect that because
Facto. When Sir Alex
stop you when you're
Ferguson,
wrong.
when Sir Alex Ferguson took over from Ron Atkinson at Old Trafford, it took him 7 years to win a trophy.
Yep. That's why we got.
United managers get sacked after 7 months.
I'm
And
here.
I think that's
That's
more
why
of
we're
a
giving Frankie
whole-
Lampard 7 years.
I think that's like all like soccer teams or sorry, football teams at this point. Like I don't think any manager of any top 6 team can go 7 years without winning a trophy. But like
Sean Dyche.
The greatest manager on earth who's never won a trophy, David Moyes, because he is the
Yes.
greatest manager ever.
Yes, sir. I agree.
He's not won a trophy, and I'd never sack him in a million years. Never ever.
that's
Brendan
I
Rodgers?
agree.
Question mark?
I
I
would-
think Brendan
I-
Rodgers
I
is also
would've-
there. Pretty good. Pretty good manager. I
Yeah.
don't know if he won anything though.
Hasn't he won an FA?
FA Cup with Leicester. Yeah.
I
I think he
remember
has.
there was quite the trophy drought that Liverpool fans like to
I don't know.
forget,
I would
but-
also consider Brendan Rodgers in that same class with Moyes.
Yeah,
Really good manager that has never, I don't think, really won anything, but has established himself.
No, Brendan
Give him that
Rodgers
same
actually just recently
He
won
won
an
the
FA
FA
with
Cup,
Leicester.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Leicester
Yeah.
City.
Did he?
What I was trying to get at is the fan base in itself. We can talk about how large these clubs are, their past successes, their global reach, right? but there's plus and minuses to everything. I encourage you guys, audiobook, or if you have the time to read The Art of War. It puts a lot of interesting things in perspective. Obviously, Manchester United, the large club that it is, there's positives and negatives. One negative is the fan base. As much as it can be a positive, there's negatives to the size of its fan base and the expectations of this fan base with regards to getting back to the top or having success. If the bulk of their fan base right now, the largest voices, only knew Manchester United or joined Manchester United during their glory days, and that's what their expectation of, not not as fans and understanding sport because sport goes in cycles. I think that's the reason why Ten Hag's going to fail because I've already heard Manchester United fans say they're going to give him a year to get settled, and year two the expectation is to be challenging for top four and more. And I'm like, what kind of perspective is that when the landscape of the EPL has managers like Pep, like Klopp, like Tuchel, like Conte, like how are you not going to take those things into account? And I don't mean to ignore Moyes um,
Rogers.
or Rogers or you know what I mean.
Even
Not
Sean
to
Dyche,
ignore
I
them.
think, was pretty good.
Yeah, no disrespect, but when you have such a competitive landscape like that, how are you then going to put that expectation on a manager that is supposed to be cleaning house and making things right from the
I'm,
ground up?
I'm,
That's the
I'm,
thing.
So
That's the thing, Vader, man. That's the thing. What has Chelsea key to Chelsea's been success? It's been having a manager for 12, 18, 24 months, binning them off, getting another one, starting again. Make do with the players that you've got for a season. We'll add one or two big names like Diego Costa or whatever. That's Chelsea's model. It's worked for them. Worked for them perfectly, arguably.
yeah,
It's not the best thing as a fan because you want to buy into this family club spirit or this loyal club spirit or whatever. But it has worked for Chelsea. Undeniable, it's worked for Chelsea. It worked for United for 26 years under Ferguson. But it's not the only model in football. Now the
yeah.
thing about Manchester United is the Titanic. Why did the Titanic sink and why was the Titanic a tragedy? Well, because what they did on the Titanic was they cleared out like 2/3 of the lifeboats to make it more aesthetically pleasing to look at. Social media signings, yeah. Why did
mhm,
why did it have to be why did it have to race to New York in 2 weeks and not 2 weeks in a day? Because it would have set a record. That's why you get your Pogba's. That's why you get your Ronaldo's back. It's look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm the greatest. I'm the best. It's hubris. It's total hubris, and that ultimately is why United fail. Ten Hag could be the greatest manager in the world. But he'll have 18 months at United and they'll sack him and they'll find the new greatest manager in the world because they
yeah,
don't understand about patience and building and starting. It's a 5-year. Look at
I
Frank Lampard at Everton.
yeah,
If you were to judge Frank Lampard at Everton after one game, you'd say sack him and never let him manage a game of football again.
yeah,
yeah,
But
yeah,
but if you give Frank Lampard 5 years at Everton, he'll
yeah,
just he'll be as good as David Moyes. I promise you.
yeah. No,
But that doesn't happen.
I genuinely see that as like if you look at like the Ten Hag versus Lampard comparison, right? The expectation for this year is, oh, you give him this year to keep us up. Give him a preseason to get the team firing on all cylinders. If he doesn't do anything next year, fire him. No, because at the same time, he's going to contend with a Calvert Lewin, a Rich Charlison. He's going to have to contend with star players, focal points of that team leaving. And then at the same time, you're expecting him to not only deal with star players leaving, but dealing with the clear out of older players and players that don't fit what the club is trying to do. And then I also expect him to compete and get back to where at least Everton was challenging for Europa and challenging for, I mean, now it's Conference League, and expect that. No, I expect that maybe in year 3 or 4. But now I think he's done a pretty good job of stabilizing the ship and getting these players to believe you're good enough. There's a reason you're in the Prem, right?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think Ten Hag, I mean, Man U fans don't, they don't give him that. They don't give any manager that. I mean,
Mhm. I've
man, I don't know.
I've already heard Man United fans talk about he's got he's got a year to get things settled. He's got a year two. In year two, he should be challenging for top four, and in year three, needs to be contending for the title. It's actually
Man,
The other
absolute
thing that they
craziness.
waffle about, what's the other thing that they always waffle about? DNA. DNA is what you find on a mattress in a cheap motel. United had success in the 50s, yeah, under Sir Matt Busby. By the way, a Manchester City legend, not a United legend. Then they had success under Ferguson. Why did they have success under Ferguson?
Because they
Because
gave him
certain
9
things
years.
happened at the right time. He was given X amount of time, and then the Premier League happened.
I mean, I think
It's not
Mourinho
as if-
said it,
You know,
right?
sorry, just to finish my
yeah,
point. The only way that United would instantly be successful again is if something like a European Super League happened. That's the only way that because they need a new Premier League. To kickstart them as a club again, they need a new Premier League. That's what they need.
But not even that. I think Mourinho said it best, right? Mourinho said, why did I fail at Man U versus why, some of my counterparts? He said, Klopp finished 8th in his first season at Liverpool. Did they fire him? No.
Right.
In his second season,
Right.
I think he finished, maybe he was challenging for champions. I don't remember what exactly
I think he finished 5th, maybe, or 4th.
It wasn't super impressive. It wasn't Champions League. I don't think so. But again, did they fire him? No. Look at him years 3, 4, 5. Well, now they're firing on all cylinders. Are you ever going to get that at Man U? No. Not a chance.
Yeah.
But do you expect it at Man U? Yes. But that's not how that works. Unless you're bringing in a manager such as maybe Pep. I mean, even Pep's first year wasn't the greatest. When he had who was it? He had left out his wing backs were
Kolarov
and
Kolarov, Kuchi, Zabaleta, Sanyo,
and Zabaleta
still had Sam Esri, still had
playing as inverted fullbacks.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't pretty. Did they do well? Yeah, because I just think talent wise they were up there. But at the same time, like if maybe Liverpool is what it is now, Tottenham is what it is now, Chelsea is what it is now, does Man City do as good in that first year under Pep? I don't think so. I genuinely don't.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, this is going to be great. There's going to be a great conversation moving forward. Let me remind all of you, hit that follow button, subscribe. Also, tune in. Find the channel on YouTube. Find the Mancunian Way. Look them up. Hit that follow button. Great content comes out of that channel. I've had the honor of being on that channel recently, and hopefully down the road I'll be able to do it again. Another thing too is they do watch along. So if you want to get a great perspective while the matches are happening, tune in. If you also want to get an account of all 20 leagues within the EPL, tune into the channel. Let me say this, guys. There's the expectation that Manchester United fans have of their own team. There's obviously us as fans of our teams and looking at them. Seeing them struggling, no one's upset. No disrespect, Tyribbs, but seeing Man U where they are, I'm not one to be like, oh, I liked it better when they were contenders or when they were challenging. No,
they're trash.
They can stay where they are. And it's the same for every other club, right?
Hey.
Now, what? I meant in the sense where if the team's going to get out of the mud, they do it on their own. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. But I will say that we are going to have a fantastic show to talk about all those teams moving forward. So again, hit that follow button, subscribe, get the notification, know when we're going to go live with that next show. Go ahead.
Bookmark this video. In 2 years, catch me and let's see if Ten Hag is still coach of Man U.
You guys want to hear the Man U fan opinion?
That's a good one.
This fandom.
I was going to beg. I need to hear.
Yeah. We were going to conclude with the Man U perspective.
All right.
Go, Tyler.
All right. No interruptions for this because this is a long day that
you have a big head.
Fucking basis. So, it all started before Ten Hag was even appointed. It's because it was still when the debate was Ten Hag and Pochettino, and I don't even know how that was a debate. And the only people I saw in Pochettino's corner originally were the former players, Rio, Neville, and Scholes. And I'm like, why are we supporting this man? He has no prep success. The man is a serial loser. Like he barely found success in PSG.
Whoa! Listen, he brought
Let
Southampton.
him finish. Let him finish.
Let me write my points down. Hold on.
That's my feelings on Poch. Like whether you hate him or love him, no way is he the best option over Ten Hag for the Man U appointment. And I don't understand why the former players thought he would be. But it just but again, they kept pushing, and then they started talking smack about Ten Hag being appointed already. Hasn't done a single thing for the club yet, and they're already giving disapproval. And then I start seeing that same feelings happen with the fans. And like the fan base is the most divided I've ever seen like in years. You have people saying Ronaldo's the problem, Harry Maguire's our best player, and we shouldn't have fired Ole. Like, and then Ragnarok's the problem. Like, how are we criticizing a man who has done so much to clean up the utter shit of this club in a couple of
PG
weeks
stream.
than any of our past managers have, including Mourinho? Literally, he was at a press conference, said our scouting team has been shit. Next day, all four
PG
of them were fired.
conference. PG stream.
It's all right.
4 of them were fired the next day.
Okay.
Literally
Are you done?
No, because everything that
sorry.
he has done has been the better of the club, and people are still getting mad at him for the results. I do not give a flying blank of what he does on the results.
Thank you.
He has done so much for the club already that he has helped setting this club for future success. And the fact that these fans don't see it, I just know that they are going to give Ten Hag a very short span, which I don't get. I'm perfectly fine with giving him 5 years because 5 years of a rebuild is much better than the single season of pain that we have experienced this year. And there is no reason for it. And it is just so awful. Like, I just don't
Are you done?
understand why. Yes, I'm done now.
All right.
All right, what
Poch.
do you have to say about that?
Poch built Southampton when Southampton was relevant. Poch built Tottenham to make Tottenham relevant. Poch went in when
he didn't get a budget. He didn't get a budget when he was at Spurs.
Listen. Spurs. He went in there. Who was Spurs striker? Roberto Soldado. I don't even remember that. They signed Chadley. They signed Lamella. Players that were thought of as flops, and he brought them to being, at least European-wise, relevant towards Champions League. That's all I'll say. Dele Alli, 500,000 from what? It's not Portsmouth. A League One team. Like it was near to nothing. At one point, I don't know if you know this, Dele Alli was valued as the most valuable midfielder in the world. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I do. I actually remember that.
Yeah, he had a spell where he was doing his thing. I would say this, and sorry, Rob, if you were going to say something, but the thing with Poch is, yes, in terms of hardware, didn't get to the point where he acquired any, right? However, like Prince mentioned, given the time to build in his vision, he's shown to be a good architect. And that's where I kind of saw the former Man U players coming from with regards to that. But in this day and age, in this banter social media era, because there's less observed failure with Ten Hag, that's why it was going to be the right choice for Man United, because Poch has already been labeled. Poch has already played for Tottenham, Spurs, Spursy effect. Like, he's already been labeled that way. So
here's my point to that. Real quick though, here's my key point to that. It's just, think about it like this: Crystal Palace made the same appointment, almost identical same appointment. They signed Frank de Boer. I don't know if you remember that. Frank de Boer had 8 games, 9 games, 10 games, won like 1 game and lost the rest and was fired.
Oh, I do remember that. Yes.
So and then I believe, if I'm not wrong, he went to the MLS, was also fired. So, granted, really successful at Ajax, I'd say within the Netherlands. However, he is also a relative unknown. We don't know if his style is going to translate into the Prem.
Yeah.
Ajax comes from a foundation and plays the same way. I feel like if
Ajax is a dish cleaner, dude. Ajax.
Sorry. Ajax plays relatively the same style. It's a philosophy of the club. It's not, the manager can tweak things here and there, but they're always going to play the same exact style of soccer. Now, if Ten Hag comes in, and let's say they finish 7th, are there not people already coming for his head?
There are. That's the thing. There already are.
I just say that when Manchester United, that massive club in everyone's heads, when they beat Paris Saint-Germain in Paris in the Champions League a couple of years ago, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was dripping head to toe in United DNA.
Yep.
Covered in it. Everyone was
Oh.
covering him in that United DNA. They were having an absolute DNA festival.
Yeah. There was the one thing I forgot to mention too.
Rob, I'm not gonna let you use that double entendre and let that go over people's heads. The fact that he said DNA so much and dripping, for you older viewers, you know what Rob's getting at, but that's for another night. All right, go ahead.
All right, so
and that happened, didn't it? And then a few months later, he was like, "Throw him in the bin, he's crap." So
yeah, that's the thing. Like, our fans are so wishy-washy. Like, I've always I've always stood pretty firm on my beliefs. Like, I believe we should give Ole time. I think he got a good amount of time, and I eventually was Ole out, but I never flip flopped. I was always, when I got Ole out, I was always Ole out. He would have a good result, and I'd be like, this is the man you want out. I'm like, yes, because I saw the issues with that win.
Go. Good finish.
But here's my other issue though, is now I'm starting to see the same people that were criticizing Ten Hag being appointed, like Rio. Rio actually just made a comment the other day about how Ralph being too honest with the media is a bad thing for the club. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? This is a breath of fresh air. We want to know the stupid shit that this club is doing.
PG stream.
And he literally said that if he was in charge of the club, he would stop Ralph from going to press conferences. And I'm like, and literally that was so pro Glazers that I just couldn't believe it.
Rio Ferdinand's a company man, though. You're right. Rio Ferdinand's not a United legend. His football that he played on the pitch was brilliant. He was a brilliant centre half, but he's not a United legend. He's not a United hierarchical man.
I would say Vidic is better off than Ferdinand, to be honest. I think Vidic was a beast.
He's just a footballer, yeah? So he's not a Manc. He's a QPR boy. He's a Southerner. He's a Cockney, yeah? He went to the club, and he played for Leeds, by the way, as well.
Yes.
Greatest rivals. Mm-hmm. Rio Ferdinand just went to the best club because he was one of the best defenders. He doesn't love United. He doesn't understand United. He isn't United. He is when he's on television with all his mates talking about how great United used to be. But in reality, he's not United. He don't give a stuff. He'll say, whoever pays his wages, he'll say they're brilliant.
That's right. Seamus Coleman will never diss Everton, though. Leighton Baines will never diss Everton, though. I'm just saying.
All right.
Who's going to give him a platform to even talk shit about them?
Who?
Who, what?
Hey, PG stream. What's wrong with you?
I'm
going to go tell Anna.
They're not going to get pundit jobs, I don't think.
Well,
yo, wow.
What I love when it comes down to the conversation and the panel interaction is that we obviously get passionate and we have different points to bring up, because even with regards to Manchester United and where they are, their failures, the expectation with Ten Hag, that wasn't even a topic. How we stare to get to it is just how the conversation flows. And we are going to have to go in depth about it, because there's a lot of things that irks me about a rival like Manchester United, and I'm sure other clubs as well. So we'll be able to get that off our chest.
When we do team report cards, I'll make sure I have plenty of notes for it.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. Yeah. That's going to be a powerful show. Now, Europa Conference. This is year one for it. It's to say that it was something of interest when first presented, I'd be lying to you if I said it was, and that's not from a arrogant cockiness. My club happens to be doing well point of view. It's a new introduction. It's a new tournament, so it's something new like that you don't quite have huge interest in, but it's here. It's more football for football fans to consume. I want to say that I was very surprised to learn and see that from a conclusion with regards to tournament to this cup, you've actually have the Europa that finished before the Europa Conference. But I think how it should be perceived in terms of like uh, quality, it's gonna sound
Least
bad.
important and most
I
important.
think they've just put it on a pedestal for this season to highlight it, Vader. Yes, the running order should be Conference Europa Champions League. Yes, that's quite correct. Just like it is with the playoffs in this country. You have League 2, League 1, Championship
Hmm.
in the sequential order. It will be like that in the future, I believe, but I think they've just done it this season this way to highlight it as a competition, to make you aware of its presence, to bolster its PR, to get more money into it, etc., etc.
Okay,
Mm,
that's
I,
it.
I,
Go ahead, Prince.
I just feel as if yes, but like as a soccer fan or football fan personally, Champions League is over. I'm done paying attention. I'm waiting for July 1st for the opening
It's
of the
more about
transfer
you than the
window.
competition, though, doesn't it? That's your personal preference.
I guess, but I'm just saying like Champions League for me historically has always been the end of the season.
What do you mean historically? It's got no
I'm just
history as a competition.
No,
well,
you mean like
I'm just saying over
experience.
the better part of
What
10
do you
to
mean
Okay,
historically?
we got to hone this in. We got to
No,
hold this.
no, don't let him say stuff like that and then not let me fucking. Sorry,
No,
not let me throw
okay.
him in
I'm
the
just
bin.
saying over the better part of 10 to 15 years, Champions League is the end of the year if there's no, I mean, the end of the club soccer year if there's no World Cup or any Euros or anything like that.
But that's only a recent phenomenon. That's not something that's more than 10 years
man,
old.
listen, I'm 25 years old.
The
I
league
don't know how
playoff,
old you think I am. I'm not. I wasn't watching
the
Prem
FA
at 10
Cup
years
final
old.
happened after that. There's so many bigger things that happened after that domestically.
Listen, I'm 25. I been watching soccer for the better part of 10 years.
Right, all right.
Soccer,
Maybe 11
football,
years.
doesn't matter where you are in the
I
world.
need to address something else as well. 'Cause this is why
Sure.
I'm a dinosaur. Right. In America, they have an egg that they hold with their hands. Hand egg. In the rest of the world, over 1.5 billion people who watch it regularly. They use a foot and a ball. Debate over.
Football and American football
Hand,
looks
egg,
like.
foot, ball.
All right. See, Rob couldn't let that slide, Prince. And again, this is the first show that we're all obviously doing together, so we'll kind of know some of the do's and don'ts or some of the triggers that gets us going. Edison's in the
I'm only joking,
Edison's
by the way.
yeah, of course. Edison's in the chat, and Edison points out that he wants a shout out to his country for presenting the first ever Conference League final in Albania. So, my dude Albanian Edison, thanks for tuning in. He's a huge AC Milan or AC Milan
They
fan.
just won the Serie A.
So
Congrats.
he's definitely gonna want coverage and talks about that.
Wait,
But
I do have a question for everyone though. As general soccer fans, I'm curious about.
Where's the outrage for that?
He's doing
Thank
he's doing it on purpose.
Sorry, general football
Because he's
fans,
been
sorry.
put in the bin. He's been put in the bin.
Listen. At least I corrected myself. I caught myself.
I did before, and that one just left. But as general football fans, like this has nothing to do with what team you support. Where do you rate the conference cup? Like if you win it, like you can't brag about winning Europa. Like you can't brag about winning Europa as much as Champions League.
Why
obviously.
not?
You did.
Why not? Are you
did.
insane?
When Man U won it, you did. What are you talking about?
What do
I
you
did
mean
not.
you gotta brag?
Yes,
What
you
is this?
did. You
Vader,
said
come
Man
on.
U
No, you
won
can
Europa.
brag.
Vader, put him in
You
his
could
box, Vader,
brag,
please.
but
Listen,
at
no,
calm down.
I need to
You know
hear.
what?
You need to
I
express
plead
his
the fifth
point.
on this one.
Let him get his point. Let us get it. Let him
We
get
don't
his
have enough
point.
time in this podcast for me to argue, so I plead the fifth on this one.
the end of the day, are you going to say
provide a little clarity?
Europa
Just provide a
is
little
important as
clarity,
Champions League?
Tyribbs. Sorry.
Are you going to say Europa is as important as Champions League? Yes or no?
Europa isn't as important as Champions League because from a how the teams are determined to get into that tournament is already pre-valued, right? Predetermined. So if you have the best of the leagues entering into the Champions League, And if you get eliminated out of that based off of your performance, you can then enter into the Europa League that already sets the value of that competition with regards to the teams that are playing within that.
Oh wait, okay.
So,
I think I have a good
Listen,
analogy to set up here.
man.
Next
I-
year, if West Ham wins the Conference League, how are you gonna feel saying that they have more European trophies than you?
Listen,
yeah,
But they don't, because we won the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1970. Get wrecked.
listen. I think to look at it as that, you're gonna sit there and be like, is it more important for is it more important than the Champions League? For a team like Frankfurt, winning the Euros or winning Europa is
Oh, I
huge.
agree. I
Hmm.
agree. I'm talking
So
about
don't
for
sit
big
there and
clubs,
like
though.
knock it and be like, for a team, if Everton won Europa, bro, I'm blitz drunk out in the middle of Brooklyn, butt naked.
I mean,
Like you have no
I
idea.
mean from a big team standpoint, like someone that's
ooh,
supposed to
Everton's
be
not
in
a big
Champions
club.
League.
Not a big club,
Someone
but we
that's
got more passionate fans, and our players don't earn 350,000 pounds a week to sit on their butt cheeks.
Mm.
please stop reminding me of the wage bill. I don't want to think about it. It gives me
Yeah,
Okay.
your
it gives me
wage bill is
sorry.
ridiculous. That's
I'm-
why your
It's
players
horrible.
don't care, because they're getting paid. It doesn't matter what they do.
So I'm not sure if you can see me on camera, Tyribbs. I'm just making notes. I'm making notes on topics that we can go into great depth moving forward, because you brought up a few things that would take us on a tangent, and I'm doing my best to contain the flow of the show. All
Vader,
right.
can you be controversial for once? I feel like you're never controversial.
I'm ne-
Or
what do you mean?
you try your best to not be controversial.
Say
I'm not
say
I'm not
Prince
a
of Prague right
controversial.
now. Say it.
Say
I'm not
something controversial
controversial.
right now. Something that's on your mind. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys will agree whether this is
Yep. This
controversial
is
or
what I
not.
want to hear.
But I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna say it, and then we're gonna move on, because
Yes.
I'm
I
gonna
also have
try
to
to
use the
have some
bathroom, so
trying to have some order here.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you two things we will not discuss until future shows. One, I believe the winning the EPL is more difficult than the Champions League. Two, I think that for only the luck of the football gods, for clubs like Real Madrid, um,
Liverpool.
no. I think only for the love or the lucky blessings that the football gods gave Real Madrid is the reason why they have the legacy that they have. The climate that they are spotted in is why they became the destination for so many great players. Had a club like Manchester United or Liverpool been in the glory of
Everton.
the Everton, been in a climate like Spain, it'd have similar history. Those are my two controversial topics. I will not discuss at this time. If you want to kill me in the comments, feel free. You can, but I will discuss that on future shows. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll decide on that. But yeah, I don't purposely try to be controversial. I have my points of view. I have my thoughts. I definitely don't need people to agree with it, but I will ask people that disagree with it to give me the reasons why. Um, and I recently got killed for saying that I think Kevin De Bruyne is the sixth best midfielder to have played in the EPL. Rob definitely
I got even
Rob,
more crucified.
yeah,
I said
Rob
12.
Rob disagreed with me. Rob said 12, but he also pointed out that he has David Silva second. So that caused a great conversation. Now, before we go off on any future tangents, let me read out these comments from Edison, a fantastic supporter. He subscribed to my channel on Twitch, and it means the world to me, Edison. And I thank you for it. Another comment from Edison. He goes, "Is Roma winning the trophy good or not? Because they for sure are a big club." Again, the tangent. Yes, Roma winning a trophy is winning a trophy. It's important, especially in terms of like your club and its status and the strength at the time. I think we would all agree that Roma, despite playing in Champions League last year, no, despite playing in Europa League last year, um, they they aren't at the peak of their powers like they once were.
I think
So
Roma has also had a very good year and does deserve some sort of reward for their year.
But how do you get back to the peak? You get back to the peak by building consistency and winning money. And winning a
yes,
trophy means money, which means they can make their squad bigger, which means they can win bigger trophies.
yes,
So that's why every trophy is relevant.
100%, 100%. I do agree. I'm just very guarded in new introduced trophies than gaining in terms of validity or gaining in terms of, I guess we would say, prestige or honor of winning said trophy. Because
Yeah.
again, in terms of like the the crop that is now selected with regards to the talent pool of clubs and where they're playing at, it's like anything. And I'm going to use an American example here. You have division one in terms of like college sports, university sports in the state is huge, right? NCAA, NC2A, that's big. But then you also have division two, which doesn't quite have the same talent to choose from, same size of universities to choose
Eh,
from. What?
the thing is, a lot. I don't. You're from Canada, right?
Yeah.
So
I,
a lot of some of it
I
comes
went
down
I
to.
went I went to school stateside though.
Okay, so some of it comes down to like grades and stuff like that, requirements to be in D1 schools and play D1 sports. So
Hmm.
that's why you'll see sometimes like I don't know if you watch MLS draft. I know it doesn't really mean too much, but you'll see like D3 players and through D2 players because the grade requirements and the
Yep.
outside stuff outside of soccer,
Yes. Yep.
matters. So it's not necessarily talent wise. It's just that it's a combination of everything, I guess you would say.
Yeah, no, true,
But yes,
but if,
overall,
yeah, if you want to evaluate because again, they're student athletes, right? So if you want to evaluate the student athlete that's able to be athlete and student, you have different divisions. So,
correct.
but again, see this panel viewers. Thanks for tuning in. This panel, Rob, Tyribbs, Prince, knowledgeable guys, and one topic. I could actually do this show with one topic because we would just go everywhere with it. So I'm not going to go on another tangent. We got to close out and go to these final topics. We did talk about the Europa Conference. Rob gave a great point with regards to building its profile, where it's placed in terms of getting the recognition, and how it's placed on the calendar.
I
I
just have one
want,
last say though
yeah, go ahead.
on the whole European trophy thing. I know you were all talking about Real Madrid a couple of minutes ago. In the 1980s, if Liverpool wouldn't have been Liverpool, and you can go and Google history of what Liverpool did in the 80s, Everton would quite realistically be the biggest club in England right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Also, Everton does have 9 top flight titles, but yes, you're correct.
Yes, I 100%. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Viewers, and again, I said it. Rob, Tyribbs, Prince, knowledgeable football, and whether you choose to call it soccer, depending on where you're on the world, we won't be mad at you. But these guys know their stuff.
Just that one country there, Vader. You've got consensus with the rest of the world, mate. Just that one country.
Just that one. Okay. And we kind of talked about it a little bit. We won't go into crazy depth because I think actually we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Viewers, you guys can chime in as well. Based off of right now, top four has Manchester City, 90 points. Liverpool, second, 89 points. Chelsea, third, 71 points. Tottenham, fourth, 68 points. Arsenal, fifth, 66 points. Manchester United, sixth, 58 points. West Ham, seventh, 56 points. Now, there's only one game remaining. Okay? There's one game remaining. Arsenal are at fifth. So if they were to win, they would move to 69 points. Tottenham are currently fourth at 68 points. So if they were to win, they would be tied on points with Chelsea if Chelsea happened to lose their match. But um, Tottenham can't pass Chelsea for third. However, Tottenham with a loss Tottenham with a loss and an Arsenal win will be out of the top 4. So I'm going to ask you, Tyribbs, who loses the top 4?
I honestly don't know. Like, I think both clubs have an equal history of bottling it. So Arsenal should win it. I think they've had a much better like run of things. But like you just saw, like last game, they collapsed and they just basically, I feel like they took it out of their hands basically, and they did it to themselves.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see how poorly Arsenal's been playing as of late. Rob, what do you think? Do you think a team's gonna lose top 4? Or do you think a team's gonna win top 4?
I love Arsenal. I love everything about Arsenal, apart from their fans. But Antonio Conte is Antonio Conte. He's a great manager. Arteta might be a great manager one day, but Conte is already there.
So you kind of see it's a case of the better manager is going to win this final game.
Unless we see some sort of miracle from Bukayo Saka and he just batters 5 goals in, which he's capable of because he is actually a great player. But yeah,
Yes.
I think it's Tottenham's. I think it's Tottenham's.
Okay, so Prince, let me tell you this: Tottenham are going to be playing Norwich, who are relegated. There's no avoiding it.
Mhm.
That for their final match, and Arsenal are playing. Guess who? Everton.
Yeah, boys. Yes, sir.
So you, as a club, are secured. You guys are secured in the EPL.
Yep.
So, what do you think your club will do? What do you think your manager will do for this final match?
If I had to say, I think he tinkers with something he maybe sees as the future. So whether it be maybe Calvert-Lewin up top, with Richarlison, with Dele Alli in the middle, with maybe Andre Gomes or Tom Davies. I think he pushes to get an idea of what he can do potentially next year. Or you have the other aspect, and maybe seeing what we can do next year, mixing in some of those guys who are in the fold next year, because Everton does have a few contracts that are running out this year. With maybe some of the young guys like Lewis Dobbins and I was going to say Branthwaite, but he's suspended. I think he could sprinkle in some youth in there. Hopefully Nathan Patterson. I would hope to see him this year. I mean, you spent 10, 12 million on him. So, but, again, it's also, if Seamus Coleman does leave, it is his last game as an Evertonian. So that could be a thing where Patterson doesn't play.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you're kind of seeing
an
Frank
experimental
Lampard,
lineup. Yeah.
taking this last game, maybe giving players that haven't quite gotten their minutes an opportunity. Definitely, maybe a sub to give recognition to players that won't be back next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, do you think it plays out as a loss? You think?
So here's my issue. Here's my thought process. I would say normally I would say yes. However, when the same thing happened when Everton had a bunch of players out for COVID related reasons, they played Chelsea. And I don't know if you remember that. I think this was the first time they played Chelsea. They actually tied Chelsea 1-1.
Okay.
Branthwaite played in the back, and it was Lewis Dobbins up top. It was a bunch of young kids, and they tied Chelsea 1-1. And I was like, wow. But I don't know. Maybe because you have the effect of like maybe the younger kids want to prove something, so they work hard and stuff like that. But
Rainbow Fanta says Arsenal Spurs will both win. So if that's the case, if they both win, then the Spurs remain in 4th. He goes, the Everton players are all out on the piss, and Norwich are terrible. So
I'm not gonna lie about that. I literally just saw a video of Holgate drinking, chugging, throwing back a beer. I was like, all right, fair play.
Yeah, they're on vacay. They've gone fishing.
How close are they on goal differential?
Who, Everton?
No, Arsenal Spurs.
Oh, I don't think it's close. Let me pull that up real quick. Goal differential: Arsenal +9, Tottenham +24.
Jesus.
Yeah, Son and Kane, man.
That is a combo for the ages. That is, you know what? And I don't know who I was talking about, but I don't know how everyone else in the world is linked to other clubs. How is Heung-min Son never linked to any
I've
other
always wondered that.
clubs? How is that? He is phenomenal. And if I'm a Chelsea, I'm a Real,
He's
I'm
phenomenal at Tottenham. This goes back to
Yeah.
the same thing about Harry
Harry
Kane
Kane.
before.
Yeah.
He works in that specific system. Heung-min Son
I
is a
don't-
great.
but I
He is a
think
great player. Don't get me wrong. He is a brilliant player. But he's comfortable. He's comfortable at Tottenham, and as long as they're competitive, which they usually are-ish, and as
Yeah.
long as they're challenging for top four, he's comfortable there.
The
Yeah.
only thing I disagree with is
I-
I don't think he's as one-dimensional as Harry Kane.
Well,
I'm not. I agree with you. He's not one-dimensional. I agree with you, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you can be in a comfort zone and not be one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
He definitely
plus the
is
other thing
comfortable
is
with
as
that.
well, a club will have approached Daniel Levy and said, "How much is Heung-min Son?" And Daniel Levy's gone
250.
758 million.
Yeah. He is definitely a tough negotiator. But I think you're right. I think you're right in that, you also got to remember Heung-min Son comes from a Hamburg, I believe, who got relegated or around that time when they weren't doing well. Goes to Leverkusen. Leverkusen doesn't do well. Now he goes to Tottenham and he sees the team go around him and he's happy. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You can go to a Real, sure, but is it any better for you? No. I mean, I feel he smiles. Unlike a lot of players, he smiles when he plays. He looks like he's enjoying himself. So I think you're right in that. That is a fair say. He seems happy there, and he doesn't seem like he's not a merchant. So he's not looking to see who's going to pay him the highest wages.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got. I'm sure the length of contract was actually.
It's a Levy contract. He's probably there for life.
Exactly. I think he made sure to secure him. I also wanted to point out, Edison goes, if I was Everton, I would play hard and try to impress the bigger club for potential transfers.
Wow, that's for another. That's for another.
Yeah, that is for another
one.
show.
Everton's going to be picked apart, or they're at least going to be tried to be picked apart.
Harry Kane will score about 18 goals against Norwich in stats pad like he usually does, and everyone will think he's a good striker.
Thank you for saying a very unknown fact. Like that's I don't
If
understand that. I think
Harry
super
Kane's gonna have to
overrated.
score. He's gonna have to score 6+ goals, and Salah will not have to score a goal for him to get the Golden Boot this year. Salah's
How
got
long is
22.
Salah injured for?
What is the Golden Boot race? Who's in it?
Salah's at
Salah's in
22.
first.
Son's at 21. Ronaldo's at 18. Kane's at 16, and Sadio Mane's at 15.
Was his injury actually serious against Chelsea or no?
Say that again.
Was his injury against Chelsea serious, or like is he gonna miss the finals?
Who Salah?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was that serious. He's been slumping, so I think Klopp kind of guarded him a little bit.
Yeah, they need to get more doping meds. They need to get more steroids or something.
They need to get I think what is it like? 85% of their players have asthma. In what world?
I'm sorry, but still nobody has pointed out the fact, right? You didn't let me go on this, Vator, because you tackled it on your own at the start. The West Ham City were knackered against West Ham, mate, because we played crap loads of football. Liverpool took the entire month of December off. Nobody talks about this. Okay,
I remember that while we were talking about some other thing. I'm like, they had that COVID controversy too. They only had
this is the second part of what I'm saying. No, it was 23 senior players and staff had COVID, but then suddenly didn't have COVID.
Yeah,
which is why they took December off.
It's also not even that. Have you seen it? Like 70% of Liverpool all have asthma. And so, at halftime, they're ripping, steroids for their lungs. And I'm like, no wonder you guys can high press all game because you guys are running on medicine.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing, and I won't go crazy in depth, but the science is, right? If you have asthma, and with regards to your lungs and its capacity, you have these inhalers, right? So they improve your respiratory and your lungs. When you don't have a limitation, and you do take an inhaler, you still get bonus effects from it, right?
Yeah, you turn
So
into superhuman.
yeah, so you can't
Inhalers are steroids.
yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Dr. Veda, speak your
It's,
part, brother.
it's salbutamol is the
Yeah.
active ingredient.
Albuterol.
so and to what Prince is bringing up, and it's funny because I'm seeing it more and more on Twitter, and I'm actually retweeting it as often as I can as well. But
Rainbow
the
Fanta's comment. Sorry, that's what I'm laughing at.
oh yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. The general population is maybe like 15% of people, right? And like Prince mentioned, it's the saturation of the amount of players that do need assistance for their breathing and claim to have asthma is like
Oh, but that
crazy.
didn't.
It indexed way higher than it should
That
be.
also didn't come up on the medical report. I'm just saying, when they signed all these players, the player having asthma wasn't a concern.
Mm.
For a soccer player who runs miles a game, asthma's not a concern. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's
Come
a little
on
insane.
now.
And yeah, that's another thing in terms of like the media slant that doesn't get talked about enough. Let me also mention this, and sorry, actually, the point before Rainbow Fanta put up with regards to, I did see this on Twitter too, where Richarlison is going. He basically said, Carragher, keep my name out your mouth, keep my club
That's
out your
right.
mouth. So
Good.
yeah, it's great. It's great. Another comment we got, Rainbows goes, son, because he is a total star of his country, he gets a lot of money from that and probably gains less from a move because of that. Yeah, apparently what I hear is like the Korean fan base, like they're Tottenham fans solely because of him. Like
Yeah.
they travel well from what I understand. So
I
uh,
also feel as if like the whole I mean, I don't know if it's a culture thing, but I don't think he doesn't seem like the type of person to be motivated by money. Genuinely. I wouldn't say
yeah,
he's motivated by money. I wouldn't even have the
yeah.
inclination that he's motivated by money, so I
I
don't think
think if
money is his main
yeah, I
issue.
think if he was if he was undervalued, then yeah, I could see a move. But once you're getting paid one like as one of the best players, and what reason would you have to go? Um, two more comments before we hit up the last topic, which is actually fan generated. The fans hit me up and said, Vader, get a cam, share your shoe game, and share what you have, and they get to comment on it. Let me show this comment from Edison first. We got looking like Santiago Munez
You don't know what that's
with that
from?
inhaler. Santiago
It's a movie. I don't remember what it's called, but it was a fictional movie where he's at Newcastle and then he goes to Real Madrid.
No, but I'm gonna have to watch it
Goal. It's
now.
called Goal.
You know what I'm
It's called
talking about,
Goal.
right? I forgot what
Yeah,
it's
it's called
called, but yeah.
Goal.
Okay,
Yes, it is called Goal. Yes. Yep.
I'm gonna hit
There's
that
like
up for
three of
sure.
them.
There's
The
three of
first
those.
one I think there's three. The first one he tries out for
Yes.
Newcastle. In the second one, I believe he goes from Newcastle to Real, and then I don't know if there's a third, but there might be.
Yeah, but he doesn't do well at Real because there's
Uh,
some random dude named Gavin, but he's playing with Beckham. I mean, Beckham's
Yeah,
in the
he's
movie,
literally.
so
mm,
Beckham
I
and Guti,
think
I think it
Kaká.
is. Kaká and Guti when Guti was at
Yeah, I think
Real.
Kaká made the person or two.
we're
Good
gonna have to
movie.
talk about.
Recommendation.
I will
Recommendation.
definitely check that out. So Rainbow Fanta goes, the only other place that has asthma like Liverpool levels are professional cycling teams.
Correct. That's
Fact.
crazy.
Lance Armstrong. Liverpool's got a team full of Lance Armstrongs.
That's right.
Sketchy.
Go check their
Sketchy.
blood.
Sketchy.
I
Oh,
mean,
the man's in the building. Unfortunately, you are late, but the beauty about YouTube is when the stream does end, hopefully please go back and hear the content. Martin, appreciate you tuning in, dropping a comment. Rob, Tyribbs, as well as Prince, excellent panel. The conversation has flowed. The topics we've been on topic, and then we've also added some topics, and we've also got some great ideas for future shows to have to discuss. So fantastic night. And like I mentioned before, fan requested fan requested. I've on previous shows talked about how I'm
What
not
you
a
got?
crazy sneakerhead. I'm not. But in my former life, I did collect a few because of my occupation. So as a result of just the nature that I have, I do keep things very well. I try to keep things in very good condition. So I'm sharing my shoe game, and in the past, I put it on screen at the end of the show. Viewers have commented on the last thing that I got a comment on from a viewer was with regards to my J's, and they happened to be fives. The viewer commented but guessed six. And no, you got corrected. They were the fives, and there's more to come. Today,
What
the
you got?
shoes I'm going to show you. I don't. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if you're able to guess what these are. But when you do, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. And like I said, if I'm able to hit the milestone, and for many YouTubers, new or established, you get to 1,000 subs. There's different opportunities made for YouTube channels when you've hit that mark. So that's a milestone that I'm looking to reach. And I've also been told, based off of my link, my hookup, my plug with regards to these sneaks. When I do hit that threshold, I've been told, and I'm confident that I'm going to be able to give back. So every viewer, every follower, please hit that subscribe button, share the channel, tell them, sub. The content's amazing, and it's not just because of me; it's because of the panel. Rob, Tyribbs, and Prince, they do an amazing job, and I'm going to have them on future shows. Let me get to this comment real quick before I put on the shoe cam. Oh, Martin, yes, it is 5 a.m. out there. You actually, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm going to be tuned in heavily for that final Sunday show on your channel as well. Looking forward to that. But let me not delay this any longer. The shoe cam is
I'm going to take a
going.
guess at what they are live.
You're going to take a guess live? Ooh, that's going to be impressive. Here we go.
I know what they are. Bergenstock sandals.
All right,
rotate.
Let me give you a side profile.
I have not seen those.
Let me see if can I show
Those
the
are
bottom?
definitely not 1 through 13.
No.
They're not.
So I'll give you guys a hint. So my alma mater is Syracuse University.
Mm-hmm.
There is a player who's had an amazing
Melo.
NBA
You got Melos?
career. Yes.
Come on, man. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm gonna know that.
So those are the sneaks. Specifically, let me know if you're viewers. Let me know if you happen to know. Well, Prince kind of spoiled it, but let me know. Let me know what year. Like if you can know what year they dropped.
That I do not know.
Sorry, I heard a comment. I missed it.
Just saying, I didn't get it right. I thought it was close.
No, you didn't get it right, but I might have to break out some sandals in the future. Viewers, the content. I'm always honored to be able to have this conversation. When you have a hobby, when you have a love, when you have a passion, and you're able to talk with like-minded individuals about it, and get different perspectives, it's always a plus. It adds to the experience, and it just adds to the knowledge. And I would never claim to know all about football, but I do lean on a lot of people that I know that happen to follow the sport and have a different view on it. So.
You know how I feel. You know how I feel about your take on football. That's why I'm here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't respect it. But we've got to work on your game for nicknames of clubs.
Dang.
That's what we've got to work on.
Work on my nickname.
Your game when it comes to naming clubs.
Oh, why? Why? Go ahead.
Well, we've established that Manchester City is Manchester City, and Man City is a nightclub where you go and pick up boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like United, call them rags. Liverpool, call them dippers.
Okay.
Everton,
call them spuds. Everton are the toffees. We respect the toffees.
Yeah.
We love the toffees.
Up the toffees.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe it's because my parents they kind of made sure that I was respectful. So it's not until I'm disrespected do I do things disrespectfully. But I will get there, Rob. I'm going to work on my nicknames 100%. And again, the reason why I love consuming the content from the Mancunian way is because I hear all of it. I hear all of it. You get the slang, you get the authentic perspective. You also get to know some of the things that you would never know. You would never know unless you're on that channel and talking to a Manc. So I love it. Tyribbs, he is a huge Manchester United fan. Gave his perspective tonight. We'll give more of it on future shows. And I don't know if you guys know this, but on previous shows with Prince,
What?
a real nervousness about whether Everton would stay up. He made a
Oh,
lot of
that's a
jokes.
fact. That's
He
a
made a
fact.
lot of jokes and just almost accepting the fact that Everton wouldn't remain in the EPL.
When was
But
that?
I don't
Still
think I ever
2-3 weeks
thought they were
ago?
going to get relegated.
I think that was almost a month ago.
Was that
I don't think
I think that was right after they beat Man U. I didn't expect them to beat City. Not City, Chelsea.
You guys were no. It wasn't after a win. We didn't have the show after an Everton win. I can tell you that.
I don't think it was either.
Yeah,
So I think it was
you were
right
in the
before.
dumps. You were in the dumps.
Yeah, yeah, it was bad, man. Like imagine Everton loses just nonstop, and it's like, oh snap! Hold on.
Yeah. So Prince is a happy man now. You can hear it in his voice. The man's relaxed. He's talking about next season. And we're gonna have a fantastic show to close out the year. Also, I want you to tune in. I said this before. Tune into the Mancunian Way. They're gonna have a fantastic watch along, as well as they're gonna cover the 20s, and that's the 20 teams that are in the EPL.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if you're not a fan of City, you're a fan of football. We're not disrespectful. Like some people do a show about the Big Six. What is the Big Six? Complete nonsense. Tottenham have not won a trophy in 1,000 years, and Liverpool
Thank you.
are
Thank
irrelevant. You know, Leicester have won more trophies recently. They should be in the Big Six. So we actually
Did he
pay
watch
respect.
Did he watch the last show? I made the exact same point.
We actually pay respect to all 20 teams. I wasn't even being critical of you, Vader. I'm talking
No,
about,
I know.
There's
It
an
was Ty Ribs that I was
show.
laughing at.
There's an established show, isn't there, with a bunch of waffle merchants who still think Arsenal are relevant. So we actually talk about all 20 teams because we have got respect.
Merchants.
Yeah.
That's
And
The exact same sentence came out of my mouth last show.
it was the 28th. It was the 28th. That was right after we got smacked by Liverpool. Well, not even smacked. We lost to Liverpool 2-0. We then we go on to beat Chelsea. We beat Leicester. We tie Watford. We lose to Brentford, and we beat Crystal Palace.
Yeah, like I said, you were in the dumps when we did record the last show.
Yeah.
You're living nice now.
I also think that was Leeds was higher up the table, and Burnley was on their
Burnley
absolute run.
Yeah, Burnley
of
had
like 3
caught
wins
some
or
ones.
something.
Yeah, you're right.
So I was like, oh, it's dead.
It was looking rough.
The
It was looking
dream
rough.
is dead. But
I think we are definitely gonna have some more shows together. And this comment I want to put on screen. So Edison goes, I wish you could have all your friends with you. I like seeing their presence while debating. So he's actually pointing out he'd love to see you guys on camera. I won't pressure them because not everyone has a face for TV, Edison. So I'm not going to pressure Prince. I'm not going to pressure
damn,
Tyribs.
Tyler,
He's actually
roasted
throwing down
you.
the gauntlet by saying that. By saying that is like,
Hey,
prove you ain't ugly. Prove you ain't ugly.
Everyone who doesn't turn on their camera is not meant for showbiz.
So they have voices. They have voices and faces for radio, as of now.
And
So
the
they might
IAGA,
change it. Yes. Oh, and so Edison, you know this. You know Prince. You know Tyribbs. Obviously, members of
Who
the
was
IAGA.
Edison?
Edison played with. He played
Chelsea?
No, that's
No.
GMC.
Edison, what team did you play with back then?
I don't believe Edison.
It wasn't Napoli, was it?
It was.
No.
Edison.
Edison was nice.
I don't believe he was. I don't believe he was in the league. He just dropped by a few times when we played.
No,
friendlies.
Edison played in the
Tournaments.
football summit. He played with Milan. Yeah, my bad. He did play
Yeah.
with Milan. So yeah, Edison was nice too. He knew his football. But yeah, so Rob, obviously, I think I made him mention this like on backstage in some of the comments. But Tyribbs as well as Prince, we all linked up playing in fantasy football league while FIFA 21, I believe.
20,
FIFA
21.
20. Yeah,
It was
FIFA
funny.
20.
It's been a while, yeah.
So it's been a minute, and great tournament. Every player picked their own teams and
Yup.
represented that team.
Except for me.
And
There's
and
no
did their
more
thing.
FIFA though, so who knows?
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that.
We gotta
moving
talk
forward.
about the 2K 23 FIFA.
Yeah, we'll see. What is it? EAFC or whatever it
Yeah,
turns into.
football, yeah.
Martin also goes, I'm one I'm the one for he's on camera. Martin is on camera. Rob is the man of mystery. So we're gonna keep it that way. And I respect everyone at the time when the time's right, and maybe this is what we do. We build the suspense. We get the viewers up, we get the subs up, and when we reach a certain threshold, then you, the viewers, actually deserve to see the handsome Tyribbs, the handsome Prince, and the handsome Rob.
Yeah, time was
Right?
the last time somebody told you that.
Well, someone told you that other than your mom.
You never.
I want to thank you guys for being on the show. Always a pleasure. I want to also. I'm very grateful for all the comments, and please make sure you got that notification. Follow us on Twitter. I'm going to make sure everyone's contact is in the description of this channel, so you follow them and know the next time we are all live. Again,
I ever be allowed back?
absolutely. I'm going to take offense if you don't accept an invite.
I'm here every week, but
Me
I'm just
too.
worried. I'm worried about the United fan.
You
and I'm
can't
worried
tell
about
you're
the
not
Liverpool
allowed
Last
fan.
time I fell asleep, I'm not gonna lie.
No,
Because I
I'll
mean,
be
like,
honest with you.
I've kept the gloves off. I've kept the jacket on. I've not
Yeah.
taken the jacket off tonight. I've been
No.
calm.
Exactly. You have been calm. It's the first interaction, and I respect, because again, let me say this. Tyribbs Ribs is a ruthless, unforgiving.
That dude is a Pillsbury Doughboy.
He
He's a
he
soft kid.
he will take his shots any and every time he can. I'm gonna tell you a little story.
The only shots
Um,
he's taking is a vodka.
No, this man, during some of the most critical matches when we were playing in the league, would bring up Manchester City FFP. He'd bring up Manchester City. Um, he'd bring up Manchester City's failures in Champions League. He used to bring up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, though, his corner man tonight has thrown the towel in because I've ruined him at every step. So,
Listen,
and I've
he
not even taken the jacket off, you know?
he also
I thought you-
said all of that just to finish like 5th in the league. I don't want to hear it. He did all of that just to finish just where his team finishes, right where he belongs.
I thought you were gonna bring up the what was it, the Rudy game in the playoffs.
The fact that I won with Lazio with my boy
Yeah.
Ciro
No,
Immobile.
The night I won against Rudy with an aggregate of like 20-2.
Yeah, there's some stories we actually we should do, kind of like a
reminiscing.
little reunion, a little reunion show, and get the guys online again.
Listen, I don't even have a PlayStation. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, I still have a PS4. I don't have a PS5. I gotta drink some water. Edison goes, I wasn't talking about online presence. I meant everyone debating face to face. Oh,
Nah, I don't want to deal with Arsenal fans.
I'll jump on the plane to Toronto. Just know what you're paying. I want first class. I want comped hotel.
first
No,
class.
we're gonna
face to
you,
face.
we're gonna watch the
Tyribbs,
game.
I'll pick you up. We'll drive up to Toronto.
No, let's go to England. We can finally see a game.
No.
Well, the face to face might be tough to do, but Edison, I do know what you mean in terms of like being in person. It's going to be tough. We're all international, like we're
Round table.
separated by countries now. But
If you come over to England, I'll take it around Manchester. I'm not guaranteeing your safety. You're gonna get battered if you chat come off. If you say soccer in Manchester, you will end up in a bin. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Watford Soccer Club.
That's gonna be wild.
I'm not gonna lie.
You
This
will
whole
be.
time I've been.
Sorry, I was gonna say. Yeah, go ahead.
I've been inebriated this whole time. Everton made survival, so I've been since I got home from work. It's been inebriation.
Yeah, you and Richarlison.
Yes, sir.
No, but Rob, you're going to be one of the first people to know when I'm coming up for a home game, or maybe if I'm even able to manage a home Champions League game and possibly an away Manchester United game. But
that's tragic.
We will see. What's tragic?
I was gonna say Man City versus Everton, maybe like 2 years, but then you said Champions League, and I was like, ha ha. Yeah, that's wishful thinking.
I'm gonna do my homework. I'm definitely gonna do my homework. Viewers, much love as always. Again, first things first, my peoples come first. Manchester City fans, please hit that sub button. Follow your boy on Twitch and YouTube. Rival fans, tune in as well. We talk about it all, and sometimes we'll be disrespectful, sometimes we'll just crack jokes, and sometimes we're purely talking football. But it's always great content, and especially because of the panel that I have here. All of their links will be in the description. Don't miss the next show. Make sure you have the notifications. And I'm Vader Games. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm out.